Marvel Studios is rumored to be moving forward with a Hulk vs. Wolverine movie. Dwayne Johnson, everybody's favorite Black Adam actor, he's back in Moana 2. This movie is eyeing a $225 million worldwide opening this week. Despite whatever The Rock says, there's no singing in the movie theaters. Watch the movie and shut the fuck up.
Agreed.
Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards, so you're still not sold on yet.
No, I'm still not sold on it.
Batman will get destroyed by Karate Kid.
He's just seeking attention.
He's gotta be, because dude, Batman would, he'd whip the Karate Kid's ass, the Three Ninjas' ass,
right.
Fucking Daniel LaRusso, Miguel Diaz, everyone in Cobra Kai, Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Rogers, fucking all of them. It don't matter. So, nope, you're wrong.
Well, first of all, Ben Affleck's version would just fly over and just bomb the whole compound.
He'll just shoot him. Iron Man 3 is better than Zack Snyder's Justice League. All right. Welcome to Only Comics. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What's up, man?
What's up, bro? Oh, man.
You messing up already.
Redo that. I'm Mike. This is Adrian.
What's up, y'all?
There you are. You're so excited, bro. You're like,
hey, I'm over here twitching and shit, dude.
It's not our first day.
It's not.
What's up, dude?
It's a cold one, bro.
Bro, it is, dude.
I walked out there. I'm like, I got my shorts on, but still, I'm like,
shit.
I don't know. I might need to switch over.
I know, dude.
I braved through it.
You did? All right. No slides, though. No, got the Crocs going strong.
Nah, still on the Crocs.
Dude, it's the holiday season, Adrian.
Yes, sir, it is.
We just came back from Thanksgiving.
Yep.
Don't know about you, but I saw you a few days ago, but it feels like I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks. Like Thanksgiving felt like an event.
It's like a couple of days off, and it's like, and a couple of days away.
Yeah.
Never off.
No, never off. No, but man, you have a good Thanksgiving?
I did. Nice, quiet. I cooked a couple of things. We just kind of, close family, just in the house, chilling.
There you go.
Pajamas and fireplace, dude.
Oh, nothing wrong with that, dude.
Yeah.
Nope. Ate way too much. I know that, dude. I'm like,
always.
I was like, I'm going to go back and watch that episode where we were talking about our workout plans, because I'm like, I'm going to need that shit after this holiday. But
always. Well, between October and New Year's, it's just a downhill slide.
It is, man. It is. Did you watch any Christmas movies?
I did.
Oh, really?
I did. Iron Man. We've classified that as a Christmas movie, right?
I finally got you to it, and it wasn't that I wanted you to admit something you didn't believe, but I needed to show you the way, Adrian.
Well, the giant stuffed animal.
Yeah.
The Christmas references.
Right.
The armors exploding at the end with signifying fireworks. Well, not quite Christmas, but close enough.
Right.
Lights in the sky. There you go.
And for anyone, we had this guy complain like a week ago about me spoiling the end of Ozark, and this show's been out for 10 years or something.
Right.
So just in case, we're gonna spoil the end of Iron Man 3 if you haven't seen this movie that's like 15 years old. So there you go. There's your only spoiler warning. But yeah, I watched Iron Man 3. I also watched the Guardians Christmas special.
Yep. I have watched that before. Yep.
You know what I watched last night for the first time in forever was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. You've seen this with Chevy Chase?
I have, like 30 years ago. Yeah.
Dude, that movie is hysterical.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. So yeah, I'm ready for Christmas, Adrian.
So am I.
This episode, this is a early Christmas gift for all of you, because we're not going to charge you anything. This thing's for free. This is episode 85, Adrian. So a couple things. I think this is going to be a great episode because, number one, I was born in the year 85, so it's like meant to be.
Well, I was not.
You were. You were already alive in 85. Right. And also, 2024 is the 85th anniversary of Batman. So it's like it was meant to be, dude.
It sounds like
So happy 85th episode, everybody watching. We're going to hop into some news and rumors, Adrian. There is some Fantastic Four news and rumors. So I also didn't tell you this. I tried to watch the first Fantastic Four movie like a few days ago. Dude, it instantly put me out, dude. Really? It was like a melatonin almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bad.
It is bad. And it was just like it felt like a direct to DVD movie,
right?
To be honest. I haven't seen this movie in so long. You haven't, right?
No.
Now, you were not a huge fan of these original Fantastic Four movies.
I have not been a fan of any of the Fantastic Four movies that have been made.
Got it.
I'm glad there's representation.
Yeah,
but it's not properly done.
Right. It was kind of like bittersweet, right? Like it was cool.
Right.
I mean, for you're a bigger Fantastic Four fan than me from the comic standpoint. but I'd imagine it was probably cool to see him on screen, but then it wasn't.
Well, that and then they twisting people and
Yeah.
toward the third one or something. They completely pooch screwed Galactus.
Right.
Cool Silver Surfer though. But
Yeah.
outside of that,
That was probably the highlight of the first two movies, was just at least how Silver Surfer looked at the time, given the
Right.
the lack of CGI that they had back then. But the good news, Adrian, is next year there's Fantastic Four First Steps on the horizon. It looks like, at least from a visual standpoint, it looks like they're going to nail that aspect. Obviously, this story is a lot more that goes into it, but you introduced everyone here to Franklin Richards probably about a year ago.
Yep.
And Kevin is watching, because now every rumor I hear is something else about Franklin Richards.
Right.
So Franklin Richards is the son of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman, right? In the rumor is that in this movie, he is going to have the ability to travel the multiverse. Okay. So first of all, is that in line with anything that he can do in the comics?
Just pull some ability out of the sky and he can do it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So this is not far-fetched.
No.
And that's, I'm not one of those where it has to follow the comics to a T, but it's almost like if you don't follow the comics and it sucks, it's a lot worse than following the comics.
Right.
Well,
not only can he travel the multiverse, he can create the multiverses in which he will then travel. So yeah,
Got
he
it.
pretty much can do anything he wants.
Right. So that's kind of on par or whatnot, or it's on brand for our friend Franklin Richards. So they also, the other part of this rumor is that, and this is something we talked about recently, Galactus is going to summon the Marvel's first family by sending Silver Surfer to Earth, demanding that they bring Franklin to him, and if he refuses, they'll destroy his planet. Seems on brand for Galactus. So.
That's absolutely on brand.
So far, we're so good, right?
Right.
And this is taking inspiration from Earth X. I've never read this storyline. Read Earth X?
No.
And in that comic, it's a different reality where Shala Bal becomes Silver Surfer. And there's some connection between Shala and Franklin, allegedly.
Wait a minute, Shala Bal, the villain in Captain Marvel with the grill?
No, that's Darben.
Okay.
But this
Shala Bal, Darben.
Same difference, yeah.
Darth
So
Vader.
hopefully there's no grill, Adrian. Hopefully there's no grill here. And in that series, Franklin lets the high evolutionary transform him into a new Galactus to restore balance to the universe, protect it from the Celestials. So I don't know if they're going to go all the way down that route, but I mean, at least pulling these, little elements from the comics, from the Galactus summoning, like that makes sense. Something that I guess the more I hear about this movie, the more excited I am for the Fantastic Four. I wasn't a huge Fantastic Four fan like you, but I really liked the animated series in the early 90s. Remember that series they did? I do. And I mean, there's elements, Galactus in there, Silver Surfer, the whole deal. But again, the more I hear about this, the more I'm looking forward to it. There was a mysterious actor on set. So they were filming this past week or whatnot, and Pedro Pascal playing Reed Richards, who you're still not sold on yet.
No, I'm still not sold on it. Not only that, I just saw him the other night in Gladiator 2.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm looking at him. I'm like, Reed Richards. I just don't see it. I mean, hopefully they clean him up.
Yeah.
And he does the job. I'm not wishing ill will on him.
Right.
But I just don't see it.
And you just from a look standpoint, like, do you think from an acting ability he can pull it off?
Sure.
Okay, but it's just right. He just does not look the part for you.
Correct.
They are doing the gray hair on the side, so in some comics, Reed's got the gray hair, so they are going to do that. I think he'll nail it, though. I really do. I think he'll embody the character, the role, and remains to be seen, as they say. But he on set, they had a little video of. I guess staff on the set rushing somebody covered with like a coat so you couldn't see his face onto the set.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ooh, I don't know.
And then Pedro also posted a picture. I think it was on Twitter. They're wrapped up shooting, and he's sitting next to somebody, and he's got like his arm on his shoulder, but they blocked out his face. So most people think it's Robert Downey Jr. because he is rumored to be in this movie in some type of like post-credit scene or whatnot. I mean, because Doom goes hand in hand with Fantastic Four, right? How do you feel about assuming that Doom's not going to be the main villain or have a massive presence in this Fantastic Four movie? He normally is. He's kind of like the Joker to their Batman, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think that's a good move to wait until the Avengers movie and just have this be more about Galactus and Silver Surfer?
So Doom. You said Doom or Galactus is not going to be the main character?
Doom will not be the main villain in Fantastic Four.
Perfect.
Yeah. You like that?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah. I mean, because there's enough with Galactus and Silver Surfer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then this will lead more because Doom, yes, he's a Fantastic Four villain, but he's also an Avengers villain. It's like he could be almost, he's probably more Fantastic Four, but the next, 2 would be Avengers, right?
And also, they need to introduce somebody to the film world that Victor can then be even more jealous about and go after his power too, which he does in the comics.
Yep. Who's that, Galactus?
Yeah, Doom goes, steals, knocks Silver Surfer off his surfboard, steals his surfboard, and goes after Doom. Yeah. I mean, a bad man.
Was Doom like an only child or something? Yeah.
I don't know. If he wasn't, he probably killed him off.
Yeah. And where does this jealousy come? Like, dude, you want Reed Richards' life? You want his wife, his kids? I mean,
everything.
Everything. So, moving on. James Gunn responds to rumors about the Superman Legacy trailer. So, this movie is going to be released. I don't know the exact date, but it's right around the same time as the Fantastic Four. This could be there's a lot riding on this movie. What's that?
That's a mistake, though.
To release it around the Fantastic? Yeah.
Yes.
Why? Which one's going to do better? If you had to predict.
I'm going to say statewide, it'll be Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Probably worldwide. Superman's been doing kind of shittily lately, and I think a lot of people are pissed off with this whole Cavill thing. So they'll probably have to warm up to whoever this new dude is, the Cavill clone.
Right.
So I'm going to go with Fantastic Four.
Okay. I think there's a lot riding on this Superman movie because this is it's really it's the first DCU movie. James Gunn's taken over this, shit show of a cinematic universe that DC had. They're rebooting most of it. Even Peacemaker, I heard that most of Peacemaker is canon. What's so funny?
I thought you were going to say they're going to reboot Peacemaker.
Oh, no, God, no. Nope, not doing that. But Peacemaker, most of it is canon. John Cena will play Peacemaker again in the DCU. Now, there's that end scene. I've not seen the whole show, but I did see the end scene with the Justice League when they're like in the shadows.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to do something to kind of remove that from canon because there's going to be a whole new, set of characters or actors playing these individuals. But James Gunn has said that will kind of continue. But the rest of this is really kicking off this new universe. And I think it can make or break the future of the DCU. If this movie's great, if they do a good job of introducing Superman in this universe that's already lived in with superheroes, I think DCU could be fantastic. But if they, as you say, screw the pooch with this one, dude, that's hard because that's your top guy. That's Superman.
I'm thinking if they trying to weave Peacemaker in there, it's doomed.
I thought you were a Peacemaker fan.
I am, but it's like a silly comedy.
Yeah.
As opposed to like a Superman flick or a Batman flick.
Now we're gonna get into the the Christmas spirit a little bit more later, but in watching that Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which was directed by James Gunn, even just watching that is kind of reminding me of how good the Guardians of the Galaxy movies were, and I got more faith in James Gunn to create a successful DCU based off of what he did with those ragtag group of just leftovers.
Right.
I mean, before that movie came out, have you even heard of the Guardians of the Galaxy?
I had not.
No, me neither. And most people, I doubt it, dude. Nobody was. But he turned them into a household name.
Right.
So if he can do that with this, bunch of ragamuffins, as they say, I don't know who they are, but imagine what he could do with Superman if done well, if done right.
Well, anybody can do anything with Superman if it's done right.
Yes.
You know.
But I got faith in that. Now, the reason why he's in the news is there was a rumor a few days ago that said, because we still haven't seen a trailer for this movie. So there was a rumor that said that the studio was not happy with the trailer that was created. So they're going back to recut it or whatnot.
Oh my God! What's with this recutting? Why is that even news?
It gets better.
It's called editing,
right?
You know, if you see something on film that you didn't like when you were shooting, you go reshoot it. Yeah. Why is that news? It's part of the filmmaking process. Right. I'm assuming.
And then instead of finishing the trailer, James Gunn is online talking about this. So he says that that's sort of true. He says that, take that with a grain of salt. When he says studio, that's solely me being James Gunn. As the only studio involved in cutting or anything to do with the trailer is DC Studios, i.e. me and Peter. I am creatively demanding this one. This is an exact same rigorous process that I've gone through cutting every Guardians trailer. So he's saying he's doing the same thing he did on the Guardians movie. And the only difference was you weren't talking so much about the Guardian movies. And the reason I'm bringing this up is, dude, just shut the fuck up and put out the trailer.
Exactly.
Just give us a trailer already.
Right.
How is this movie coming out in July and all we've seen is like 3 photos? Yeah, I mean, it's one extreme or the next, right? Some you see the entire movie. You go to the theaters and like, dude, I already know the ending of this. This one, they give us one photo and so like, dude, just stop talking about it. Get off of fucking Twitter and go cut whatever version you want and let us see it, please.
Right. Well, there's no trailers because they doing all the cutting and reshooting and all this other bullshit, right?
Yep. Moving on. So Marvel Studios is rumored to be moving forward with a Hulk versus Wolverine movie. So we heard a rumor about this right around the Deadpool Wolverine. I mean, we saw that one scene, Hugh Jackman in the brown costumes, got the claws, and we see Hulk's reflection in the claws, and it's over, right? And, as the internet say, I think everybody was glazing that scene, Adrian.
All right, kids. Stop with the new words that mean what the old words meant 200 years ago. Just so everybody's part of the conversation. If you want to have like a little club with 2 people in it and you want to come up with some like trick words that only you 2 know about, right? That's cool.
Yes.
But in the mainstream, just so everybody else is educated or understands the conversation, can we just use regular words, please? Just regular old words.
I don't think they're gonna listen to you, Adrian.
I don't think so either.
No, it was worth a shot though. It was solid. But they were glazing that scene, Adrian, glazing it so bad that Marvel caught wind of it, and the rumor is they're moving forward with a Hulk versus Wolverine movie. I'm all for this, dude.
So there's 2 pieces of rumor there.
Yep.
One, they were glazing it so much that, and then the
I
other
made
piece,
that part up.
and then the other piece is that Marvel is making the Wolverine movie,
right?
Because of the glazing.
Yes,
they heard us talking about it months ago, and they got the idea from it. And they was like, we're just gonna let it sit for a while so it looks like our idea.
Okay.
That's what happened.
That makes sense. Yes. So we were glazing it is what you're saying. But I mean, just hearing this, how do you feel about a Hulk versus Wolverine movie?
I think that'd be awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Make sure it's in the Canadian wilderness.
Yes.
Make sure Alpha Flight shows up. That'd be, that'd be a happy time.
Yes. Like, I'd love for it to be kind of disconnected. Yeah. Like, now that we're in this multiverse sandbox, I would probably prefer that this is in the multiverse somewhere. This is not the Wolverine we saw in Deadpool and Wolverine. This is not the Wolverine we saw in the X-Men movies. This is not Mark Ruffalo's Smart Hulk or whatever. Like, just give us some raw, rage-filled, savage Hulk and some early savage Wolverine before he meets the X-Men.
I absolutely agree with that.
Rated R.
Yep, rated R. It can absolutely be completely isolated. Matter of fact, don't even just open the movie with some slashing going on, and just end the movie with some hearts and on the ground and some shit. It could be 2 hours completely, and no intro, no key up, no nothing, just savagery.
Dude, I got to bring this. I'm going to bring it to you tomorrow, and maybe we can talk about it next week. You've probably seen this before, the Hulk Wolverine animated movie. You ever seen that?
No.
Oh, dude, you got to watch it. I got to bring it to you. It's literally it's the perfect setup for this live action movie.
Is it on Disney?
No, it's fucking nowhere. I had to buy the Blu-ray, Adrian. I bought the Blu-ray for like $30 on Amazon or eBay or something because it's nowhere. Wow. It's nowhere. You can go watch fucking Madam Web right now, but you can't watch this movie. Ain't that some bullshit?
That's absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep. That's horrible. So if Kevin, since you're watching, I'm giving this the okay. I'm giving go make this movie. Have at it, dude. Now, who should play Hulk though?
Not Mark Ruffalo.
Now, what if he's just Hulk and we don't see Bruce Banner? But I guess you'd have to see Bruce Banner at some point, right?
Well, at some point, Wolverine probably get hurt or crawl on a rock or something.
Or he sees a girl,
and then Bruce will calm down for a quick second.
Yeah.
Or maybe, the spirit of Black Widow will come in, touch his face or something. And
the sun's getting low, big guy. Sun's getting low. Dude, that's almost a Martha moment.
Oh, my God.
Martha! It almost is. The sun's getting low. I just hope that it is a throwback to Hulk before they ruined him, right? Whether it's the Edward Norton or even, Mark Ruffalo. Eric Bana. Or even Mark Ruffalo from, the early Avengers era before he became the smart Hulk, before they tried to make him look too much like, back when Hulk was still a savage.
Yeah.
I mean, I just envision this opening up, as you said, in the Canadian wilderness, snow-covered backdrop with just blood from these guys cutting, smashing, whatever. All of a sudden, the snow's covered in red because they're beating the living shit out of each other. Right. I'd love to see it.
Throw in some Wendigo, too, since they're up there.
Yeah.
Have maybe Wolverine originally looking for Wendigo, but finds the Hulk. Because the Hulk, doing whatever the hell the Hulk is doing
Hulk things,
and they go at it,
right?
Then maybe Wendigo come and just maybe make it a threesome, whatever, dude.
Whoa, a little excited there, Adrian.
Hey, that's what we do here.
Yeah, so we keep it PG here.
No, we don't.
But this is Only Comics, where we discuss comics and only comics,
and sometimes some other things.
Sometimes. Captain America: Brave New World is possibly undergoing more reshoots, Adrian.
Oh, my.
After the third round of test screenings, they're still getting negative responses to this movie.
Once again, they're watching us, and they're like, man, maybe they make sense.
Yeah.
Let's go reshoot, Sam.
Right. Now, we reported last week, they talked about, Sam Mackie was doing some press and talked about how Sam Wilson, or I said Sam Mackie, Anthony Mackie was talking about how Sam Wilson's Cap could actually go toe-to-toe with Red Hulk, and it was the Wakandan suit, vibranium, the technology, the whole deal. Because the whole thing, one of our things was, how is this regular guy, no super serum, fighting Red Hulk, who actually is stronger than regular Hulk? Usually in the comics, Red Hulk's, or he can get stronger because the angrier he gets, it gets bigger, hot, whatever the deal.
And also there's the heat thing.
Yes. So he's got different powers than your regular Hulk. So the fact that this Cap is less powered than, Steve Rogers, it's kind of weird that he's going toe-to-toe. So they explain that.
Well, hold on. The Steve Rogers Captain America can't go toe-to-toe with Hulk.
Okay.
Right? When you're talking about going toe-to-toe, so there's a couple of things. Hulk, unlimited strength. When he's sleeping, he can lift 100 tons, right?
Sun's getting low.
800 pounds, right? Okay. Now, the Hulk one hit obliterates Captain America's body. It's as simple as that. So there's no going toe-to-toe.
Okay.
He's got the shield, but even with the shield, he can absorb the impacts, but, instead of hitting the shield, he can just hit the ground or bring a building down on him. So there's no toe-to-toe, number one. Number two, Anthony Mackie, even though he might have a suit, it's like if you give a 13-year-old a Ferrari, just because he can sit behind the wheel and start the engine, that doesn't mean he knows how to drive a Ferrari, right? What am I saying? Okay, so he can get this Wakandan suit, but he doesn't even have Steve Rogers' fighting skills,
right?
He was basically a pilot in this experimental suit. Now he can fight. And I'm sure Steve has taught him some things.
Sure.
But then there's that saying, I taught you all that you know, not all that I know.
Correct.
So Anthony Mackie in the suit is not, he'll be able to like take a blow due to the vibranium, but there's no, again, going toe to toe with the Hulk.
Right. That's a good point. In that savagery era of Hulk, the only person there's two people that went toe to toe with him from the Avengers, Thor and Iron Man with the Hulkbuster.
Right.
With no Hulkbuster, Iron Man's done.
Right.
And Thor, I mean, he's a literal god, and even it wasn't easy for him. I mean,
Well, I think a lot of Thor's thing was holding back.
yes,
Because this is Bud and all this other kind of stuff. So I think there was some to that. And ultimately, the Hulkbuster is gonna get ripped apart, which is what it started to do.
right.
You know?
He just outsmarted Hulk. I mean,
Right.
that's really But yeah, talking through that, I'm like, it's even more unbelievable that Mackie or Sam Wilson, even with this vibranium suit, because Black Panther ain't going toe to toe with Hulk.
No. So the Hulkbuster, the goal of the Hulkbuster is to distract, right, and delay. That is it. There's no toe to toe with the Hulk.
Right.
It allows you to survive him more than you would if you were, in this case, Iron Man in his regular suit or anybody else. The vibranium suit allows you to survive the Hulk as you're leaving his presence.
Yeah. So he's either going to need some help from somebody else.
Right.
I mean, not either. It's what it's going to probably come down to.
Yep.
Now, it sucks that we have this, neutered version of the Hulk in the MCU now. He's got boo-boo on his arm because he snapped one time and all this nonsense. Because it would be nice to have the real Hulk in the MCU, and we could see the start of the Avengers getting back together, right? Like, hey, Sam Wilson, we're going to go scoop up, your boy, Bruce Banner.
Right.
We need a Hulk to fight a Hulk, right? It would make sense.
Right.
Instead of just put on this, latex suit that now makes you Superman.
Right.
Yeah. And this is, I'm not saying that that's why this is getting negative reviews, because we've not seen any of these test screens. Matter of fact, why don't they just bring us out to watch the fucking movie?
Right.
You don't need to do 3 rounds of reshoot. We'll tell you once what to fix.
Right. I mean, I'd be checking on the math, and you'd be checking on the nonsense.
There we go.
For example, the Hulk doesn't actually have to hit Sam.
True.
He can just snap his back.
Yep.
Vibranium doesn't keep you from moving one way or the other, right?
Nope.
It absorbs impact.
Yep.
So, or how about this? Drown him.
There you go.
Drowning always works.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's some other comments that Mackie had said in a recent interview about this movie, and some of it, sounds like this would make for a good movie. I'm really curious to where the negative feedback came from. Like, what is it because the trailer looked good, but that's a trailer,
right?
So I think after watching the last trailer, I'm surprised that they're still getting negative response to this movie. But here's what he said. He said it made more sense for it to be more of a grounded espionage action movie as opposed to aliens and airplanes coming through portals and shit. Even though I've been in so many of them, and I've seen it all now, the opportunity for Sam to really establish himself as a true action star and Avenger comes with this movie. The movie is a clear reset. It really reestablishes the idea of what this universe is and what this universe is going to be. I think with these movies, you're getting a clear new branding of what Marvel is heading towards, the same way they did with Captain America Winter Soldier. If all that's true, it sounds great.
Sure.
But there's that small thing. As long as that true. Now, this movie's scheduled to be released February 14th of 25. So we're talking 4 months away, maybe.
Uh-huh.
And they're still going. They may be going through another round of reshoots. I've never made a movie, as our buddy pointed out. You ever been on set of a movie? No, dude. Neither of you. Shut the fuck up, because you're not on TikTok with 40 followers as you're making movies. That's not how it works. But I would assume that with more reshoots scheduled and this movie less than 4 months away, it's gonna be pretty hard to it's gonna come down to the wire.
Right.
I hope that the CGI doesn't suffer, because we've seen that when movies are rushed out. But this is not a good thing. I don't think.
I don't think so either. The other thing that comes to mind is, why is everybody talking about these movies, man? I mean, it's like, won't we just have the janitor come up and talk about how he sweeps, trash across the floor while they on the set and stuff? Dude, just shut up. Just shut up and make the movie and put it out. Give us some trailers
Right.
and let's move on. I mean, why does everybody have to say everything about these movies? It's like, dude, I don't even want to go watch it now and shit.
It's like,
I mean, I do, but
yeah. It's like Wolverine said to Pyro. Not everybody gets a speech, dude. But I guess I could play devil's advocate, and maybe this is a good thing that they're taking it to this level to try to get it right. Versus there's definitely movies we've seen that I wish there were reshoots.
Right.
Like Blue Beetle. I wish there were some reshoots there where they got rid of like the family. Maybe not make the family superheroes, even though they're all poor. So the Marvels. I wish they could have just erased Darben's grill. It would have been a much better movie without the grill.
Absolutely.
Maybe cleaned up some of the unnecessary Samuel L. Jackson jokes. Like black girl magic. Like, dude, please.
Or at least give him some time to lose some weight and what's her face? Get rid of some of the cats or something. Yeah. Anything.
But some movies would have been better with reshoots, right?
But here's the thing, though. If it's coming out in 4 months, are they able to do the reshoots, do the editing? Now, I'm assuming in this digital world, there's no sending movies around the country to get them in theaters, right?
Sure.
It's like a digital transfer, but still, you got to make agreements and all this other distribution.
I think there's a lot of theaters still use film. Like IMAX and stuff like that.
So do you think all of that can happen in 4 months, dude? I don't think so. I think this is they want to, so they can say we're going to do reshoots until the day before because it keeps them in the news.
Right.
I think this is already done, and they just kind of like. It's kind of like self-promotion, dude.
Okay. So they're promoting the movie by talking about their reshoots just so we can talk about them again, is what you're saying.
Right.
They're manipulating me.
And then creating anticipation because, oh my God, is Captain Falcon going to be out in 4 months? Oh my God, are they going to make it? Come on, dude.
I know it did come out, though. Last week, Wicked hit the box office, or hit the movie theaters, killing it at the box office. Now, Wicked is a musical, and I've never seen the Broadway show, but the songs in the movie are the same songs from the Broadway show.
Okay.
So naturally, there's people that they want to go to the movies, they want to sing. They know the songs. So AMC Theater spokesperson Ryan Noonan was asked about this last week, and he says that, AMC has a long-standing policy that prohibits disruptive behavior, which includes singing. So basically, like, enjoy the film, but don't disrupt the experience for those around you. So basically, sit there and shut the fuck up. Which, do you think that's fair, or because it's a musical, people should be able to sing their hearts out in the theater? Where do you fall?
I go to, first of all, I don't go to musicals, so I'm not going to have that experience.
Okay.
However, I go to a movie to watch the movie.
Right.
I go to plays to watch the plays. I go to opera to watch and hear the music, not hear some yodel next to me doing his or her rendition of what they're experiencing. So I agree.
Yep.
Shut the fuck up and let everybody enjoy, because everybody might not know the song.
Exactly.
Or want to sing. Yeah. Or can sing.
Correct.
So.
Or should sing.
Should sing.
So yes, I'm with my man Ryan Noonan here. So that was last week. This week, Moana 2 hit the theaters. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, everybody's favorite Black Adam actor.
He's taking over Disney now?
He's taking over Disney now, dude. He was in the first Moana as Maui, and he's back in Moana 2. This movie is looking it's eyeing a $225 million worldwide opening this week, which is not too far from Inside Out 2's $295. So it's going to be number 2 or 3 movie of the year from a box office standpoint.
Wait a minute, how much did the Joker make?
$16. Yeah, $16.50. I think. Yeah. So.
Oh my God.
Now The Rock chimed in though. This is what The Rock says. He says, "Sing. You've paid your hard-earned money for a ticket. You've gone into a musical, and you're into it. Sing," he told BBC, giving all those Disney adults free reign to spoil the big screen experience for everyone else. Now Ariana Grande, who's in Wicked, she kind of she walked the line. She goes, we understand if you sing, we respect the feeling, but if someone throws popcorn at you, their phone or something, maybe stop. Maybe. So I guess kind of like sing unless someone tells you to shut up.
I like Ariana Grande more now.
I do too. That's a good in the middle. Like, she's more of a mediator. I'm more of like the Ryan Noonan, like, bro, sit there and shut the fuck up.
Right.
I'm definitely not on the rock side, bro. I don't.
Dude, what is he doing?
Seriously, bro. He's just trying to pander to the fans or what?
Well, what is he? I've made my money, so I'm gonna screw everybody else. What's going on?
You know what, Rock? You get one of those, okay?
And they still talking about The Rock trying to take over DC and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, the hierarchy of power is going to change. It didn't fucking change at all. As a matter of fact, it was so bad. I mean, I like Black Adam, but according to everybody else, it was so bad, it was probably the final nail in the coffin.
I don't know.
But yeah, I'm going to go, I'm team Ariana Grande on this.
Yeah.
I'm not team, I mean, Ryan Noonan, I'm leaning more towards you, but I'm trying to be nicer, Adrian. It's the holiday season. So, but Rocky, nope, Dwayne,
Nah,
this ain't hit or miss, but that's a miss right there.
Can you go to jail for inciting a riot?
Not if you're running for president.
Oh, okay. Got it. And if you do, once you become just pardon yourself, you know.
But yeah, I think Rock could be inciting riots with this mentality.
That's what I'm saying.
So here's the thing, guys. If because I'm gonna go, I didn't go this week. I'm gonna go next week to Moana too. Mm-hmm. And if you're in there singing your hearts out, and I smack the shit out of you, blame the Rock.
There you go.
Blame the Rock. Don't blame me. Mm-hmm. Blame the Rock. So moving on, dude. Video games, Adrian, something that I'm going to continue to try to get you. And it'll probably never happen, but I'm just going to keep suggesting games. And maybe one day you'll be like, you know what? There's more to the video game world outside of Ratchet and Clank. But today you're going to say there isn't.
Well, it's not playing the games. Yep. It's the games to be played.
Okay.
Because I've been eyeballing these Capcom stand-up consoles.
Oh, the fighters, yeah.
Yeah. So I was thinking about getting one of those.
Oh, like the arcade games.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got 15, 16 games on them. And probably just, stress relief.
Yeah.
Get a couple of those boxes, some Miss Pac-Man, some Pac-Man, some Galaga, Tetris, Dig Dug, stress relief.
That reminds me of the Avengers movies. Like, this guy's playing Galaga. But the reason I'm talking video games, there's a game coming out. I've been hyped about this. It's called Marvel Rivals. Okay. Uh-huh. This is a third-person hero shooter type game. It's a online game, 6-on-6. It's on all consoles. It's on PC. There's crossplay, so I know. I'm assuming. I'm assuming everyone knows what that means. But crossplay is like you have a PlayStation, I have an Xbox, and the interns over there have a PC. Right. We all can play together.
Got it.
Okay. 6v6, third person, and it's a hero shooter, but it's not really a shooter because every character has their own powers and you can use their powers and there's different objectives. It's very similar to the game Overwatch, but here's the cool part. It's a free-to-play game, so meaning costs you nothing to download the game. It drops with 33 different characters from Marvel Comics, and the story follows a meeting between Dr. Doom and his 2099 counterpart. Causes multiple universes to merge into some time stream entanglement, and basically it causes heroes and villains across the multiverse to fight one another, and their main goal is defeating Doom and the variants before one of them claims victory over the new world. The story ain't gonna mean shit. It's all about the gameplay.
Right.
Here's some of the characters: Adam Warlock, Black Panther, Black Widow, Captain America, Cloak and Dagger, Doctor Strange, Groot, Hawkeye, Hela, Hulk, Iron Fist, Iron Man, Jeff the Land Shark, Loki, Luna Snow, Magic, Magneto, Mantis, yes, I'm going to read them all, Moon Knight, Namor, Penny Parker, Psylocke, Punisher, Rocket Raccoon, Scarlet Witch, Spider-Man, Squirrel Girl, Star-Lord, Storm, Thor, Venom, Winter Soldier, and Wolverine. All available at drop.
Wow.
So I'm hyped for this, dude. It looks awesome. I keep telling my kids, I'm like, every day, all Thanksgiving, I'm like, 7 days. Like, what? 7 days? Like, I know that. 7 days you're going to download the fucking game, all right?
Wow.
Yeah, they have to play or they have to move out.
Why did they go away from, like, being able to, for two people to be able to, other than the obvious money, why did they go away from two people being able to play a game?
Together.
On the same unit, the same box.
Because think about it. How many people could you actually have in your house playing versus going online and millions of people. Like so it's just the multiplayer from like, you know, across the world is a lot more appealing than, hey, come to my house and play.
Yeah, but if you got a house full of gamers, right?
Yeah.
You got to have a box for everybody in the house.
Because they're not going to play the same game, dude. They don't even like playing with each other. No.
Wow.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So anyway, so this might be a useless idea, but Sony, somebody, so make a box.
Yeah.
Call it Harbinger. Have it shaped like an H. So you have one console on this side, one console on this side, have a router in between so they can talk to each other, and then you can have like two people off the same console playing in case they want to.
Okay.
In the same house.
Yeah. Now then the new generation, dude, are like, don't talk to me in person, meet me on the internet.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, my kids have like more of my son, he's got kids he's met like, you know, in Florida across the country, and they're friends. At first when they were little, I'm like, it's not your friend, they're online. What are we talking about? But I'm like, no, I mean, you guys play all the time, you know each other, and like they get hyped when the other person's on, like my boy's on, you know. It's cool. I'm not like that. I don't even like playing with my headset. Like, don't fucking talk to me. Do you want to play on the team? That's fine. Don't try to talk to me. Shut the fuck up. Right. You know, I'm a big fan of that. But I'm excited, dude. December 6th, this drops. Marvel Rivals, free to play. So what that means, so free to play is this is like a Fortnite in a way. It don't cost you anything to download and play, but there'll be cosmetic things like different nothing that affects how good you are in the game, but there's usually like cosmetic things like different skins and costumes and whatnot that you could pay for if you want. So yeah, I'm looking forward. So if y'all let us know, you guys hyped for Marvel? Are you as hyped as I am? Here I am giving them free promo. Can y'all send us something, dude?
Something.
Even a T-shirt, you know?
Something.
That'll be more promo, but give me just a Marvel T-shirt that you send me.
Coffee coaster.
Yeah, something. Shit. Maybe some of these guys, like, I don't know what they're doing in there. Maybe they can, like, do some work, get them on the phone.
I don't know.
I don't know. But moving on. My boy Battinson, Adrian. Battinson met with Kevin Feige to discuss an MCU role recently. It's a rumor. Now, a lot of the fans, for some reason, are clamoring. You like to use that, clamoring? They're clamoring at the idea of Battinson playing the Beyonder in the MCU. How do you feel about that?
Oh, okay. So Batman was a stretch. Right?
Damn.
And now you're gonna jump ship and play like one of the most powerful persons in the universe.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Whatever, dude.
Well,
I'm fine with it.
You're fine with it.
Sure.
All right, let's we'll pull up a picture.
I mean, he was a decent Edward. Sure, he can play. You can play a vampire. You can play a galactic entity.
Got it. Well, if you go to the laptop shot real quick, this is a picture of the Beyonder.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him pull it off from a visual standpoint. What do you think?
What I think, gain some weight.
Okay. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
at
fair.
least do
That's
that. At
fair.
least do that.
That's fair.
I mean, he needs to gain some weight for as Batman evolves as well, right?
Yeah,
So,
he really should. That is the one. As much as you know, I'm honest, Adrian. I'm not going to be biased here. Okay, I'm a big Battinson fan, but the one critique that I will agree with from a size standpoint, it does. I mean, when he's in the armor, It's fine.
Sure.
But when he's out of it, it would make sense that he puts on a little bit mass. That's the one chink in his armor, if you will. You know,
and it's something I'm kind of rolling around. I'm thinking about breaking a rule, Mike.
Oh shit!
You know the 2 rule limit.
Are you gonna have to uplift that?
No. What I'm thinking is 2 rules apply to the comic book house that you're in.
Okay. So 2 Marvel, 2 DC.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I'm thinking about. I'm chewing the fat, as they say.
All right. Well, Battinson's good because the only real comic role is Batman so far, right? He's not played. I mean, Bedward's not a comic guy, fortunately.
I don't think so.
I don't think it didn't come from the comics. So, speaking of comics, speaking of Batman Knightfall animated trilogy rumored to be in the works at WB. So you familiar with the Knightfall story at all?
I am not.
So this is the story. I've not read it. It's a 3-part story: Knightfall, Night Quest, Night Send. But in Knightfall, this is the comic where Bane breaks Batman's back, and he's out of commission as Batman. I think Azrael. I forget how you say his name. Azrael.
Azrael.
I think he fills in for Batman during this time. but he's a little too violent, you know.
Right.
So they start to realize it's not. I believe. So don't quote me on that. And that is also something y'all should know. Fact check our shit, because sometimes I'll just be yapping about some shit. But I mean, I try to not make shit up, you know. But hey, if it sounds good, don't let someone told me a long time ago, don't let a fact get in the way of a good story.
There you go.
But Knightfall, I do know that Bane breaks Batman's back. We saw this done really poorly in The Dark Knight Rises when little Tommy Hardy picks up Christian Bale, who's twice his size, over his head and snaps his back. But it was a cool scene. I'll give him that. So the rumor is that this is in the work. There's a movie listed, because when they're working on movies, they got to list them like a working title. And there's a movie listed as Batman Knightfall Part 1, which is just a placeholder with a runtime of an hour. Now, the listed release date is 2024. I'd imagine that it ain't coming out in 2024.
Right.
But it sounds like, you know, WB's working on this animated trilogy, which I'd be all for this, too. Bane, Batman, in an animated movie from WB.
Yeah. I think they need to, when they bring in new animated features, they should decide like the look of the Batman. And you can have writers, but even if it's computer generated, stick with the same kind of style. You know, I mean, that's just a personal preference. My being heavily into the art side of comics. It's just that some of these guys, you know, they come and they want their own rendition of Batman, which is cool with the storyline. But you know, next thing you know, he's gonna be sprouting, you know, bat wings from underneath his arms, like out of his skin, kind of a shit. It's just at some point it just gets ridiculous.
Yeah. But hearing this after we just rewatched Batman vs. Robin last week, which is a great animated movie.
Yep.
Like if it's done, whoever did that, have them do this.
Yes.
Similar tone. Like, yeah, I mean, you can change it. Maybe it's not, because I think that story of DC has been rebooted from an animated movie standpoint, but make this its own thing. It doesn't have to tie into the other shit.
Right.
But and it also, based off of their inability to portray Bane properly in live action, but I look at what they've done in animation, I think they got a better shot of doing it in animation.
Absolutely. I'd love to see any comic done in the Iron Man Extremis or the Batman Ninja Japanese animation type drawing.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
Dude, a lot of Batman this week, dude. So last thing, this is actually an old, it's from a couple weeks ago. I forgot to bring it up. Have you heard of Absolute Batman?
No, but I mean, you got Absolute Thor, Absolute Superman, Absolute Wonder Woman, Absolute King, Absolute Doom, Absolute. I mean, sure, why not?
There you go. So absolutely. But there's a new comic that new series that dropped about a month or two ago called Absolute Batman. And this may be the biggest comic book of the year. First issue sold over 400,000 copies, which is a lot nowadays from a comic book standpoint, because usually they sell about 12 copies.
Right.
And this is a different take on Batman. So he's a big, huge, the way he's drawn is crazy. He's huge. He's like the size of the Hulk. He's got this giant bat symbol on his chest that attaches to like a hammer and becomes an axe. It's one of these Elseworlds comics.
Wow.
So I'll pull up a picture in a minute, but this is the premise of this is number one, Bruce Wayne is not a billionaire. He's a blue collar civil engineer. He still comes out at night and fights as Batman, but he's stalked by a secret agent who is Alfred Pennyworth, and Alfred's a badass secret agent in this. So I won't get into any spoilers outside of just that kind of premise. It's not fair to say I read the first issue. I skimmed through it on my tablet. It's written by Scott Snyder, who wrote he's not Jackson or Jack. You got me calling him fucking Jack now, Adrian. Jesus.
Who is your dialect coach? The Minions?
I don't know. But he's not Zack Snyder's brother.
Got it.
He is the writer of Court of Owls, the comic that we're going to be reviewing in a couple weeks.
Yep.
So he's done some really good Batman stories, illustrated by Nick Dragata. I don't even know who that is, but the illustration. Matter of fact, let me pull one of these up for you. Hold on, it's real time. It's how we do it, dude. Just real time.
That's it.
We're just talented like that, you know. Oh, here's a good one right here. Let's zoom in a little bit because I don't want to give the webpage any props, All right, look at that. This is see that handle? He attaches to this this whole thing here, and it just comes off his chest like a fucking axe.
Wow.
He's a giant dude. So I'm going to check this out, dude. I mean, 400,000 copies sold. I mean, it word of mouth. And this is a comic, Adrian, that I've had a handful of people that never even talked to me about comics ask me about. Like, yo, have you heard about this? Here, pull this one up too. Look at this shot. That's a badass looking Batman, dude.
That dude's huge.
Yeah. So now, how do you feel about these, like, in DC, they call them Elseworlds, like these alternate versions, like it's not tied to anything. It's almost like a what if, like Marvel's what if.
Right.
How do you feel about those stories? You ever get into those or no?
I don't get into them,
No.
but I think they're cool.
Yeah.
It gives different writers as long as they maintain the integrity of the character.
Yes.
It gives, like kind of creative freedom with the storyline. And, everybody should know that we're down for a good storyline.
Yeah.
So it gives them the ability to go out and write things that's not within the current timeline of Bruce Wayne and that whole family thing.
Right.
So I think it's cool.
Yeah, I like it. I like it in comics. I don't like it in live action yet because you think about there's, almost 100 years of comic history. Right. We've got live action that goes back 10, maybe 15. You know what I mean? Like we don't need these alternate versions of Iron Man and Batman on screen yet. We haven't even seen enough of the original versions. Right. In the comics, it's like we've seen the Batman for 85 years. It's cool to have an alternate take. So I guess that's why when they veer too far from the comic origins of characters, that's why I get frustrated as a fan. Like, dude, we haven't even seen this done, the regular fucking Wolverine done yet. Why do we need this version? You know what I mean?
And they're in such a short period of time, they're killing off people too. Tony Stark, Iron Man, the Black Widow. Yep. So it's like, why? Why are we doing this?
Exactly. For shock value. Oh my God, this one died. But yeah, dude, seeing this, I'm interested. I skimmed through it. Like I said, the artwork looks great. The story looks, it's out there. I mean, Alfred is this psycho fucking secret agent badass. So it's cool. But anyways, that's the news. We're going to wrap up news and rumors with a little thumbs up, thumbs down. Adrian, are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Number one, the MCU's Franklin Richards rumored to have the ability to travel the multiverse in Fantastic Four First Steps. I give that idea a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
James Gunn responds to rumors about the Superman Legacy trailer. He said he's the one that wasn't satisfied with the original cut. And then he talks, and then he talks, and he talks. And I'm giving this a thumbs down. Shut the fuck up and put out the trailer.
Thumbs down.
Marvel Studios rumored to be moving forward with a Hulk versus Wolverine movie because they watched us and we gave it our blessing. But I give this a thumbs up, dude.
Definitely a thumbs up.
And as you said, Adrian, Alpha Flight needs to be there. It needs to be in the Canadian wilderness.
Absolutely.
Good old Department H days. So yeah, I'm all for it. Captain America Brave New World possibly undergoing more reshoots after a third round of test screenings that get negative responses from the critics. I give this a thumbs down, dude.
Thumbs down. What they're not getting is that they're doing the third round not because of the action in the movie. It's what you've done to Captain America.
Right.
You'll never get rid of that. So you can do all the reshoots you want.
Yeah. Singing in the movie theaters has been a topic of discussion lately. AMC Theaters, Ryan Noonan says, don't sing. It's distracting. The Rock says, sing. You paid your hard-earned money. And Ariana Grande's like, sing until someone tells you to shut up. So I'm going to give all of this, I don't know, thumbs up, down, in the middle. But the main point in all this is Moana 2 hit the movie theaters this past week. $225 million opening week right after Wicked. I give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Because you know what? It also dispels this stupid idea of comic book movies ruin the theaters. Nobody comes out for other movies. They come out if they make good movies.
Right.
Wicked, I saw. Fantastic movie. Now, maybe they had an edge up because it's based off a musical that's already popular. I don't know. But they were smart enough to turn it into a movie that did a good job.
Yep.
Moana 2, I've not seen it yet. Reviews say it's pretty good. The first one was great. Good movie. makes a shit ton of money.
Is that a cartoon or
Yeah, it's
live
animated.
action? Okay.
Yep. And the animation is phenomenal. It's like a Pacific Island kind of indigenous type people, and the girl Moana ends up sailing out in the ocean, and the visuals of these islands, the boat, the water, fantastic. Cool. So I can't wait to even just seeing the second one. So thumbs up to that.
Wait, you saw the first one?
I saw the first one, yeah. Thumbs up to Moana, thumbs down to The Rock, thumbs up to Ariana Grande, and thumbs up to Ryan Noonan. So there you go.
I'm sure. All of that.
Yeah, did you keep track of all that? Marvel Rivals launching December 6th with 33 characters at launch, free to play. A 6v6 team-based shooter type game from Marvel. I give this 2 thumbs up. I can't wait to play.
Yep, thumbs up for those that play.
You'll be dusting off your Ratchet and Clank.
Absolutely.
Robert Pattinson, also known as Battinson, met with Kevin Feige to discuss an MCU role, and that's the rumor. And fans want him to play the Beyonder. I'm down with that. I give this thumbs up.
That's weird and very specific that you want to play. The fans want you to play something that's never been showcased on the screen before. But I mean, good for him. Thumbs
was
up,
rumored to show up in Secret Wars: The Beyonder.
Right.
So I guess that's where they get that from. But I mean, I think it'd be cool to see him play anyone in the MCU.
Sure.
You know, there's a rumor that there's a Batman Knightfall animated trilogy in the works at WB. If that's true, thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
And then Absolute Batman might be the biggest comic book of the year with over 400,000 copies sold of an Elseworlds Batman story. I give that a thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Is there an average? Do you know what the average?
I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that.
In paper, we're talking about, right?
Yeah. Well, I think this would count digital copies too, as long as you're buying them.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I guarantee you it ain't nowhere near 400,000 if this made the news.
Right.
I mean, average is probably, I would assume, like maybe 100,000.
Wow.
But let us know. If you know, drop it in the comments. You know, it's like a team effort here, guys. Help us out. That's thumbs up, thumbs down. Let us know how you feel, if you agree with us, if you don't. I think we were almost we weren't thumbs up across the board because we had James Gunn talking about trailers, just talking about it. Imagine if we just talked about doing the podcast and never did it. Like, would you guys like that? We'd roll. I tell you what, dude, episode 86 coming any week now, but we're just going to keep talking about it.
No, they wouldn't like it because they wouldn't know that it existed.
Exactly.
Because they wouldn't.
Correct.
Because we'd be still talking about
Fucking pay attention, James. Jimmy. Dude, so I know you're not a WWE guy. I watched Wargames Survivor Series this past, actually yesterday, Saturday. So I know that our boy Broman Williams is a big WWE guy. And I know it's funny because wrestling and comics has some cross. It's not a like universal crossover that everybody likes one, likes the other, but there is a lot of crossover in the fan base. So I wanted to do a quick little recap for those of you that did watch that. So if you need to, get these guys in line while I do that, I mean, these fucking guys do. Your drink empty? You need another one?
I do.
Can we get a refill for the love of God? What the fuck are they doing? Anyways, War Games Survivor Series. I give this show as a whole, I'd say it was probably 7.58. Survivor Series, WWE does a, back in my day, they called them pay-per-views. I feel old now because now the new name is Premium Live Event, PLE, because you don't pay-per-view. It's on streaming services, whatever. But they do one of these events just about every month.
Okay.
Survivor Series is known as one of, back in the day, it was the big four. They had WrestleMania, which is the biggest one of the year. They had Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, and SummerSlam. Now there's a Money in the Bank, so it's kind of like Big Five. But this is one of their bigger events, right? Okay. So it was, they did a Vancouver, British Columbia, and up in Canada. So it was a pretty good crowd. And War Games is a concept where in the War Games match, there's 2 rings attached, and there's a cage that goes around both rings. There's 2 teams of 5.
Okay.
The match starts with 1 member of each team for 5 minutes, and then every 3 minutes, another member from the opposite team shows up. So every team, one team will have an advantage for 3 minutes, and then the other one. So it's good for storytelling or whatnot.
So do they trade? So is there always one person in the ring, or do you just keep adding more?
Keep
people?
adding. So it starts with 2 in the ring.
Yep.
One team has the advantage. So after 3 minutes, one of his teammates joins him or her. There was a female War Games match as well. And they do that until all participants are in the ring. Then the actual match starts. So this match means people jumping off cages. There's getting hit with garbage cans, chairs, the whole deal.
Right.
It started with a women's Wargames match, ended with a men's Wargames match. I will say match of the night was the men's Wargame match for me.
Okay.
Couple big moments in other matches. Shinsuke Nakamura won the U.S. title from LA Knight. I'm all for that. LA Knight annoys the shit out of me. Gunther retained his world championship in a really good match with Damian Priest. Couple high spots for the night. Io Sky and Tiffany Stratton, Tiffy time. So, Adrian, imagine a 16-foot steel cage.
Okay.
On opposite, there's 2 rings. So on one corner, there's Tiffany Stratton. You don't know the name, but Tiffy time. She's awesome. And on the other corner is Io Sky. Io Sky takes a garbage can and covers herself with it and does a moonsault, so it's essentially a backflip. She takes out 4 women below, lands on all of them. And at the same time, Tiffany Stratton does a senton. This is where they kind of jump forward and roll and land with their back on everybody. So you got, 4 girls here, 4 girls here, these 2 at the same time. It was a big moment in the match. So that was one that stood out. Bronson Reed, this is in the men's match. He's about 350 pounds.
Damn.
He gets up that same part of the cage. He's got Roman Reigns on a table, and his big ass jumps off. CM Punk helps Roman Reigns get out the way. Dude, my man lands on this table and smashes it into 3 pieces. His 350 fucking pound ass. Yeah, dude, there was some cool shots. Jimmy Uso does a splash on the other side. He has I forget who was on the table, Tonga Loa, one of those fucking guys, but he actually hit that one. Cracks the table in half. So there's a lot of good shit that happens in this match, and then it ends with the OG Bloodline defeating the new Bloodline. Solo Sikoa gets pretty much everybody's finisher, and then Reigns spears him, pins him. But all in all, it's an entertaining show. It did feel like one of the big 4 or 5, if you will. And there's a lot of good storylines moving into this kind of WrestleMania season. So WWE is like, WrestleMania is in April. And around this time of year is where a lot of the storylines start shaping up for that. Like, that's like their Super Bowl, their end of their season, if you will, right? Their season finale. So you see a lot of storylines kind of gearing up now that lead to that event. So as a wrestling fan, it's a good time to be a fan. So you guys let me know I know Bro Man watched this. What'd you think, dude? I say 8 out of 10. It was a solid show. Not their best, but pretty damn good. Again, match of the night was the men's war game match, and there was plenty of awesome moments throughout. So I was entertained, Adrian.
So OGs. What were we talking about OGs? Because OGs to me is like Ric Flair, Andre the Giant, the Undertaker, things like that.
Nope. The OG
Dusty
Bloodline.
Rhodes.
Right. No, he's gone. Well, he's dead.
Right.
The OG Bloodline is a faction, so they were a group for about 4 or 5 years now. They've been running shit. They're bad guys, heels.
Got it.
And then their leader, Roman Reigns, lost his belt at WrestleMania. New Bloodline comes in. Now the OG Bloodline, they're kind of the good guys. The New Bloodline's the villains. So they've been at it for months.
Got it.
And the New Bloodline's been kicked. It's almost like a dude, it's like storyline straight out of movies. Imagine The Lion King when Scar takes over.
Yep.
It's kind of like that. The Savages have now taken over.
Got it.
And this was the first time that the OG Bloodline beat the new Bloodline. So it was a big moment from a storyline standpoint.
Got it.
But no, not The Undertaker and those guys. Hey, before we move on, Jacob Fatu is a national treasure from a entertaining, from a workhorse standpoint. Like, he's just fun to watch. And everything they're doing with this Bloodline story, Paul Heyman back in the fold, it's just their goal is to top last year's WrestleMania, which I went to in Philly. And my plan is to go to this next year in Vegas. And last year's was one of the, from a main event standpoint, story culmination, it was one of the best ever. So they got a lot. They have their work cut out for them, but it's a fun time. I mean, you mentioned when we were talking about the Tyson fight, WWE's moving to Netflix soon.
Right.
So that's going to be a big change. I think it's going to allow them to be a little more edgy and adult with their content, kind of like they were back in the 90s when I became a massive fan. So, let us know, guys. Did you like the War Games show, the match? What was the deal? And are you excited for WrestleMania like I am?
Actually, I mean, they're getting into so many other things, and it's like everybody's going to the Netflix platform. I wouldn't be. They already have like a wrestling studio, right? Like where they make movies, like production studio, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they get into animation or, have some kind of pathway for the wrestlers, because we already got wrestlers in comic movies, right?
Yep.
They create some kind of venue or path or training so that wrestlers can get more involved in that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, John Cena started those movies you mentioned, like the Marine and all those. Those were WWE movies,
right?
And they've even produced movies without wrestlers. Like there's a horror movie. I think it's called Oculus. It's with the brother and sister. They're in this house, and his clock is like mesmer. It's a creepy fucking movie.
Really?
And it's made by WWE Studios, and it's nothing wrestling related. So, I mean, they've definitely. I mean, and The Rock's, however you feel about his acting or his movies, I feel like if there's a bad movie, The Rock will be in it. Like, he's like, I fucking got it. Shitty ass movie, I'm in it. Like, you seen this new one, Red One? You seen the trailers for that? It's like him and Chris Evans, this Christmas movie.
Red One, Chris Evans?
Yes.
No. What, this year?
Yes.
No, I have not seen it.
Oh my God.
But did you see
ridiculous.
the one with Ryan Reynolds?
Yep.
When he was like a jewel thief?
Yeah. I didn't watch it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah. But yeah, I think if it's a bad movie, Rock's like, yo, I'm in. Just like if there's a shitty commercial, Kevin Hart's there. Like, yo, I'm in that. The only one that's funny is with him and LeBron James, when LeBron is like betting on DraftKings, and he's like, I think I'm going to take this, football deal. And Kevin Hart thinks he's talking about playing football, and he starts talking shit to him for being old. That one's funny.
Wow.
But all the other ones are just, what does that have to do with comics? Nothing at all. So moving on, though, this has a lot to do with comics. Hit or miss cast, Adrian. This is where I throw out a handful of casting choices from the past. Now, the theme this week is... it's a Christmas theme, because everyone in this list is from a Christmas movie that we're going to be talking about in a little bit, Iron Man 3. So, number one, John Favreau as Happy Hogan.
Hit.
Gwyneth Paltrow as Pepper Potts.
Hit.
Guy Pearce as Aldrich Killian.
Hit. Ben
Ben Kingsley as Trevor Slattery or the Mandarin.
Hit.
And Don Cheadle as Colonel James Rhodes Rhodey.
Miss.
I agree across the board. I want to ask you about Trevor Slattery because the Mandarin connection, but I'm going to wait until we talk about the movie, because you being a big Iron Man guy, I'd imagine that you weren't a huge fan of that reveal.
Not at all, dude.
Now, I was not a big Iron Man guy. Like, I was not familiar with the Mandarin, so that didn't bother me.
Right.
But knowing the backstory, I could see why. And that bothered a lot of people.
Right.
But before we get into the Iron Man 3 review, I got a special gift for everyone, Adrian. It's called Christmas Movie or Not. So I have 5 movies here that I'm going to ask you, is it a Christmas movie? So all you have to say is if it's a Christmas movie, it's a Christmas movie. If it's not a Christmas movie, okay? Now, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Number 1, Die Hard.
Yes.
Christmas movie. 2, Batman Returns.
Yes.
Iron Man 3.
Yes.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yes.
Gremlins.
Yes.
Across the board. Look at that. All right, dude. I didn't give you any of these, I think the only one I don't agree with is Edward Scissorhands. That one seems like a stretch.
I have some snow in it.
Okay. But the rest of them, Gremlins, yes. And I've been a big proponent. I think, I think I helped you see the light here, Adrian, because initially, I don't think you were on the Batman Returns / Iron Man 3 being Christmas movies.
Nah, but it had also been like a long time since I've seen them. And I don't go in there to watch. There's certain things I look for in the movies.
Yeah.
The visuals and the visual effects and the math, and then all the auxiliary stuff. I have to watch movies a couple of times in order to see the auxiliary stuff.
Okay.
And in this case, whether if it's a blatant, like Bad Santa, that's a Christmas movie.
Right.
What was it, the Bad Moms Club or something?
Oh, yeah, Bad Mom Christmas. Yeah.
Christmas movie.
Okay.
Iron Man, it could be Christmas or the 4th of July.
Right.
Based on the ending.
Sure.
Right? So.
But speaking of, so let's dive into Iron Man 3.
Yep.
This is a movie that originally came out, I think it was 2013. the bigger Iron Man fan of the two, and the two being me and you. When's the last time you've seen this movie?
Probably when it first came out.
Really? So you haven't seen the movie in years?
Nope.
Looking back or rewatching this, I guess what would you give this movie from a 1 to 10 score after rewatching it?
Probably like an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that good to you?
Yeah.
I've always liked this movie, and this is a movie that I think it's polarizing. A lot of people hate it. Mm-hmm. They hate it because of the Mandarin reveal.
Right.
Now, it's not a perfect movie. It would kind of go high level, and then we'll talk about some of the highlights. But what bothers me about this movie is it feels like two different movies. Like you have the beginning, that's not the beginning, but that middle part with the kid.
Yeah.
And he's rebuilding the Iron Man suit and all that feels very Christmassy, right? Like and then the end is like they're in this mansion. There's 800 fucking Iron Man. Like it kind of goes from this smaller story. Now I know it's not a small story with the Mandarin and all that shit, but from like what Tony's dealing with, and then the end just feels like there's too much going on for me.
I've always felt all the suits at the end is a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, rewatching it again, it actually makes sense because remember, the only reason that he was with the kid was because the suit malfunctioned. He ended up with
fucking Jarvis
with the kid.
Yep.
But the reason that he was even in that town was to connect the dots with an earlier bombing, which it wasn't a bombing but an explosion.
Yes.
So that was the only reason that he was even in the town. So it kind of made sense in that. And then popping around. And going to this bar to talk to the mom who was a drunk, but ended up, almost, getting assaulted by this other agent, which how the hell they know he's around?
Right.
Everybody else thinks he's dead, but everywhere he shows up, you got one of these, human torches floating around. So, I mean, and the interaction with the kid was cute.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was a comedy moment up in there. I'm cool. And then when he drove off,
yes,
that was funny. So a lot of good stuff in there, but the long game of it actually made sense. The only overwhelming thing was it when all the suits came at the end, and of course they had to do that in order to get the fireworks at the very end.
Yeah, so to your point, it made sense. But now the premise of this film I really liked. It was different than the first two Iron Man film,
right?
And it did kind of bring Iron Man down a little bit to a grounded character, at least for this movie, because this is coming off of the Avengers, where he's, fucking, as we referred to several times in this movie, dropping a bomb up in space and all this shit.
Right.
Like, that was the last time we saw Iron Man. And I kind of like that they didn't go for that level of movie. They brought it down, right? Like, we got this Mandarin, these threats. I thought that was really cool. The visuals of those, him taking over the news networks and all that shit. And then Tony just being Tony. Like that, I think that was probably one of the things I really loved about this movie is it was Tony being Tony.
Right.
Tony is he is great as he is. He also self-sabotages. He creates his own villains, as he referenced in this movie. And I like the little backstory with Aldridge and the girl, the other scientist.
Botanist.
Yeah, botanist. Maya, was it maybe? Anyways. But that was cool to see a throwback to the old Tony Stark, the asshole Tony Stark. Because that's another, I don't think we saw enough of that in the MCU.
Right. He was a lot of that in this movie.
Absolutely.
To the kid, mostly to the kid.
Yeah. And he, the whole the interaction with Pepper in the beginning was hilarious. Like, she's just fed up with his shit, and he's just like not like a lot of he's not seeing it. Like, I love when she comes home and he's got the suit and he's downstairs.
Right. And but she knew it.
Yes,
she knew it.
Yep. And then when the other girl shows up to the house and sees the giant, what was it, a bunny or something, and she's like, yeah, no, that's just normal here.
Yeah. But the thing about it is how normal, because Pepper has walked in on him with smashing some other girl so many times.
Correct.
So now that this girl is in there and she's like engaged to him pretty much. Yeah. And she's like just normal. It's like, and their conversation goes off on something that has nothing to do with the chick standing right next to her.
Right. And then prior to this, he's just fed up and he gives out his damn address. Right. Like, he makes a threat that he's going to kill the Mandarin.
Right.
And then gives out his address on live TV.
Right.
Dude, this was a cool scene, though, when they attacked his mansion.
Yeah, it was. That was some cool stuff. But the thing about it is that Killingly or whatever his name was.
Yep.
And I get to that point later on because I like the triplexity of this thing. It was like a man behind a man behind a man kind of a deal.
Right.
But she went there with her own agenda, not knowing that they were going to attack, and he attacking, not knowing that she was there.
Correct.
So that made it kind of credible.
Yeah.
In the beginning, which is why Pepper even ended up with her.
Right.
But she was there to basically get Tony, but they ended up with a hostage instead.
Right. And she fucking set Pepper up, dude.
Oh, yeah.
You know, when he shows up at the what was it? The hotel room.
Right.
I also, I love, we talked about John Favreau as Happy Hogan. I love his character.
Right.
He's just such an idiot when he's you got your badge? Where's your badge? Hey, where's your badge? Like, like, bro, you ain't gonna do shit. These guys will fuck you up.
Right.
But he's just like so aloof and just it's hysterical.
We've had a 300% increase in complaints since you took over the position.
It's like, you're welcome.
Wow.
And then he's trying to show him with the tablet and he can't.
Right. All they need to do is like turn it around.
Right. He's like, I'm not a tech guy. You just need to see this.
Right.
Like, whatever.
And then Tony did what Tony does and took over the tablet.
In like 2 seconds.
Yep.
So I thought the setup was really well. And then they attack his house, and he had this flight plan to Tennessee. He already talked about with Jarvis, and then once everything went to shit, dude, he's like passed out, and Jarvis just takes him to fucking Tennessee.
Right.
That was so it brought him away from his home's now destroyed. They removed all the tech he had. He has this one halfway functioning, almost malfunctioning suit. That's like the prototype, right? He's the one he was working on where the suit comes to him,
right?
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a bigger fan of these types of Iron Man suits over the nano bites and all that like the nanites, the stuff we've seen in like Infinity War where the suit just does whatever you want it to do. Like, that's too much for me.
Yeah. Well, but that's evolution.
Sure.
I mean, that's evolution because think about it. He was on Mark 40 something. With that suit, that suit, right? So he's got to evolve into something.
Yeah.
So he's gone from metal plating with no exoskeleton, out of a cave to this 40-something iterations of this suit, So he's got to go into that next thing.
Yeah. I just feel like it's more like plot armor than anything. Like, I need a stop sign. I just make it with my hand. I need a fucking gun. I make it on this side. Like,
So you're saying it's too much?
It's too much. Yeah. I like the days of my suit's out of like, I need to charge my suit. I can't use it.
Right.
Like you see more of Tony Stark in this movie. It's probably less of an Iron Man movie than a Tony Stark movie, if that makes sense.
Well, he does evolve into an Extremis suit.
Yeah.
Right. Using that tech. And he flies through, this isn't a comic, he flies through this one town, and I don't think he physically changes people, but he makes people think that they're beautiful, right? And then the people that didn't get this upgrade or whatever, right? They're being attacked by these now beautiful people.
Got it.
And then he lets them be beautiful for like a day or a week or whatever it was, then he turns it off. So now everybody's like, oh, my God, I don't want to be looking this way. And then, so he sends out this thing like it's like $99.99 a day.
Yeah.
So you can be beautiful, but you're going to pay for it.
No shit.
So, he went to that dick extreme with this armor. So there is evolution, and it just gets sick how much because he's as smart as he is, and then he has access to a Reed Richards or he's popping around finding all this alien tech. So he's going to be constantly upgrading, dude. Well, not anymore because they killed him off.
Yeah, he's dead.
Him and T'Challa.
Right. If you haven't noticed, we're not a fan of that either one. There are a lot of cool scenes in this movie, though. I like the airplane scene with the president. And he's saving. I remember the first time watching this, and when the bus hits the Iron Man suit, like for half a second, it shocks the shit out of you. Then you realize he was controlling it remotely.
Right.
That was cool. I think this. I like what the director did with this. That's all director shit, like faking the audience, keeping you on the edge of your seat. That was cool. It becomes personal because Happy is in the hospital after this, Mandarin attack or whatever.
Which is really the only reason why he made the threat and he started going after him anyway.
Correct.
I don't think up until then he really gave a shit.
Oh, that's right. True. Yeah. He's like, whatever, dude. I'm trying to fucking work on the suit in my garage, and now you involve me because
he's got PTSD from the alien invasion.
Right.
So he's dealing with that.
Which that was cool to see too. A different, like, you don't see a lot of that in the movies. All this stuff happens, and they're just like, all right, we're ready for the next one. There will be some repercussions physically, mentally. Since we're seeing this in live action and more of a grounded in reality type story. They don't just bounce back and they're fighting. One day you're making a suit in a cave, then you're fighting aliens and everything's okay. You question some shit.
So are you saying that it's okay for a man who's going through some things to maybe seek some psychological help?
Yes. Adrian, in this spirit of mental health, it's okay to not be okay, as they say. All right.
Right.
But we see a great job of that being portrayed in this movie. Like one of the scenes that stands out is when him and Rhodey are at the restaurant and the kid asks for an autograph and he calls Rhodey a dick and he's like, "Oh, my friend Richard here." It's funny. But the kid starts like, what was it like in space? And Tony has a fucking meltdown. And that's when Jarvis tells him, like, dude, this is a panic attack.
Right. So kids,
yes. Not
not only is it okay to not be okay, it's really okay to go and talk to someone about not being okay.
There you go.
See, that's the other stuff.
That's the other stuff. They're already under your learning tree. We haven't even got the hidden gem yet.
That's it.
But I think that was a cool addition to this storyline, and I like movies like this in the MCU that feel connected but not too connected, right? Like, we see the impact and the aftermath of the Avengers movie with Tony's PTSD and whatnot, but it still feels like its own movie. It's remnants of what happened in this movie, but it's not like, you don't have to have seen this to watch this, right? You get the gist of it.
It's like the Penguin. You didn't have to see Battinson to enjoy that whole freaking season of the Penguin, except that for that one where they did all the flashbacks.
Yeah.
But the great thing about that one was the kids acting.
Absolutely.
Phenomenal job in it.
Yep.
But anyway.
100%. What did you like their portrayal of Extremis? Is that what? Damn, you didn't like it. You fucking fell down on the wide shot. But
it was a mutant mental blast.
Damn. Yeah. So how'd you feel about Extremis on screen?
So it's not what I understand because Extremis in the comic book is a computer program, basically, I think.
Okay.
So the way it was being portrayed, like Iron Man used it to upgrade his armor and things like that. So, but this is some kind of a human genome mapping version of Extremis.
Okay.
I mean, it was different, but it was still cool.
Yeah.
Because Pepper definitely looked hot at the end.
Oh yeah.
I mean, she was hot, but she looked hot with and her power set was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So what you think about that? Pepper having these powers, and I think he stabilized her. He didn't take it away from her.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was cool. At first, I'm like, it's kind of much, like, like everyone's got to get powers and all that shit. And it's always weird when the hero of the story's not the one saving the day, like Pepper did. So that was kind of odd, but it visually it looked insane.
Right.
And I liked it in the long. At first, I thought it was too much, but that's kind of been a theme with this movie for me.
Well, I mean, I also had like a Blue Beetle moment because all of a sudden she not only has this power, but she knows how to operate his armor, and she knows how to use ordnance. Right. She throws a shell at him and then fires the blaster.
Yes.
So
that part was
it's kind of it was a bit much.
It's fine. I think my son was watching it with me, and he was like, "She just knows how to use all that stuff." I'm like, "Well, it would make sense." She's Tony's fiance. It would make sense she knows how to use the repulsors and stuff. But the fact that she kicked that damn, like, she fucking kicked it like she was Messi and blasted in the air like she's damn Hawkeye. Like, really? But anyways, we had to give Pepper her, her moment.
But have you ever seen Iron Man's Armored Adventure when he was like it's an animated series for like. That's a pretty good show too.
When he's like a teenager.
He's
or
like a
something?
teenager.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've not watched it though.
And Pepper is in it. Pepper and then Rhodey. They're all teenagers in high school.
Okay.
And they're going through all of that stuff. But Pepper, he makes a suit He makes a suit for Pepper. He makes a suit for Rhodey. But Rhodey typically does he's in their lair. And Tony sets up this remote control chair where they can control different things. So that show was pretty cool too. So Pepper does get a suit. She does have access to Tony's tech.
Yeah.
And obviously he programmed it for her to use it,
right?
And not Rhodey, because Rhodey's like, do I get a suit? Do I get a suit? Because when all the suits come in, right?
Yeah,
he's like Christmas time or something, right? Yep. He's thinking he's going to get one, pick one, and then he's like, nope.
I love
and then Jarvis comes and picks him up.
Yeah,
really, really, dude.
I love their dynamic.
Yeah,
as much as it's weird because I don't dislike Don Cheadle as Rhodes, but I like Terrence Howard's Rhodes better,
right?
And I do feel like in some aspects he's a miss, but not horrible. It's weird. I'm kind of torn on him.
I mean, to be honest, I think both of those guys were a miss for Rhodes. It needed to be. Imagine if you can put those two together. I think.
Okay.
So Rhodes was a taller guy.
Yeah.
Cheadle was 4
Small
foot
guy,
8,
yeah.
something like that. So the height of Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
But the complexion of Rhodes.
Yeah.
Cheadle.
Yep.
So kind of like a mashup of them two, because Terrence Howard's voice was not quite right.
Okay.
He could have, but I think he's more of a Rhodes than Cheadle was a Rhodes.
Cheadle
for
just
different
looks
things.
thin and frail to be that badass. Because Rhodes is the badass,
right?
And I don't feel like Cheadle's a badass in these movies,
exactly.
But I love their dynamic. He's not afraid to tell Tony whatever. He hits Tony with the truth.
Right.
He ain't afraid of what Tony's going to say or do. And Tony's the same way. He ain't afraid of him because he's this, colonel.
Right.
He don't give a fuck.
Yeah, their dynamic, their back and forth supersedes whoever it is.
Yeah.
Who's playing Rhodes? I think.
Absolutely. Funny little side note, Jenna Ortega plays the vice president's daughter, so she's the one in the wheelchair.
Yep.
Jenna Ortega's from Wednesday, the show on Netflix, a pretty big show. She was in the Beetlejuice sequel. She was in one of the recent Scream movies. She's one of the, these top teen stars right now.
The president's daughter, not the vice president.
The vice president's.
Oh, the vice president, the paraplegic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that was Jenna Ortega, so it was one of her early roles. Cool. But I liked I love Trevor Slattery's character. And now this is gonna be another attempt to get you to watch Shang-Chi. He's in there and he's 10 times as funny in that movie.
Really?
Yes. And he's gonna show up in the Wonder Man show as well. Because he's an actor. But I fucking love first of all, Ben Kingsley is an amazing actor.
Right.
And I didn't know he had this range to be this funny guy because he's more of a serious usually.
Right.
But I loved him as.
Didn't he
Trevor
play Gandhi?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, 50, 40 years ago, something like that.
So he's always looked old.
Yeah. No, I liked him too, but I also like, and this is what I was talking about, the man behind the man behind the man.
Yeah.
Because, and this is the only reason why this version of Mandarin worked, right?
Okay.
As opposed to the original Mandarin. So, whatever, the crazy guy.
Yep.
Right?
Trevor Slattery.
Trevor Slattery. So it's really the vice president is the one that's pulling the strings. He got the Slattery guy or whatever to create something, and he, instead of putting himself out, got the Kingsley character to play the Mandarin.
Right.
So it's like the vice president is really the evil one because he's trying to wipe out the president.
Correct.
And then so it kind of trickles down. So that makes sense.
Yep.
And then the Ben Kingsley character is like a perfect role. He's a drug addict. They picked him up off the street, and now he's just talking his shit and falling asleep in mid-sentence and all this other kind of stuff. So
I love when he wakes up and he just starts drinking the beer like out of nowhere. Yeah, he has no idea what the hell's going on.
Exactly.
Like, no, I'm just an actor. I don't know.
And also like that at the end, even though he was a pawn and he really didn't know what was going on, he also got arrested. Because he was part of all of this.
Absolutely.
As well,
you know?
No, well, I mean, it was his face,
exactly,
that the world saw, not this other guy's.
So technically, Aldrich Killian is the Mandarin in this movie.
Right.
Now,
and he's pretty much said so at the end in the shipyard. Yeah. Right.
Now, that's a little, messy, right? You got this guy's a Mandarin, but he's not. But then no one's a Mandarin. Now he's the Mandarin, but he's really not. But he gave himself an out because what'd he say? If you give the world a target, a face, you make a target of you. Yes. Or some bullshit like that. Yeah, some crazy, some nonsense. But it is Aldrich Killian. He is in the comics. He was in first appearance was Iron Man in 2005, so he's a newer character. But I think he's a lot different. He's got Maya Hansen develops Extremis with him, so that part's true, or from the comics. Little different. Now, I guess the biggest difference in this is the whole Mandarin aspect. This ain't hidden gem, Adrian, but give me a quick rundown of who the Mandarin character is in the comics.
The Mandarin character in the comics was like this Chinese character. Yeah. And he was obsessed with power, and he basically went around like like the glove, like
10 rings or whatever.
Yeah, so he went around with instead of stones. Yeah. It was rings, and each ring had different powers. Okay. Right? And then together they magnified power and did even more stuff. So that was the Mandarin in the comics, which is also in the Iron Man Armored Adventures cartoon series. Okay. Another teen, right? He's rich, and he's going behind the scenes trying to find these rings, and the two teens meet up as their armored selves or their costume selves. So
got it. How let down were you when you at that scene? As funny as it is, but you're watching this movie for the first time. You're like, shit, Mandarin's in here, right? He's this guy. We're gonna see him, and then Iron Man shows up and realize he's just this drunken idiot. Right. How'd you feel when you first saw that?
I mean, it's been so long, I don't really remember how I felt about it, but I know I was, kind of disappointed. Yeah. But actually seeing it again, it made sense. Right. Because of the onion levels of this thing. Yeah. So
it's almost like if they didn't use the name Mandarin, nobody would have an issue with it. Right. Right. Now, what would you name? I don't know, fucking something else. Right. But I think that's where people's hang up was. It wasn't the story, because it does make sense. The guy behind the guy, it is a cool reveal. But it's like, dude, we wanted the man, as Iron Man fans, like, we wanted the fucking Mandarin, dude. Right. That's like making a Joker movie without the Joker. Right. Oh, right. Shit. Wait.
But he's not really the Joker.
No, he's not. He's just a guy, Adrian, that's in a movie called the Joker. He calls himself the Joker, but he's not the Joker.
And it's funny that they wove him into real life bad guys. Like they said it like three names in the same sentence. Bin Laden, Mandarin, and there was somebody else that they said up in there too.
Yep. But yeah, I think all in all, dude, it's a fun movie. I do watch it almost every year around Christmas time. It's just, I think I said this last week, it's a good way to kick off the Christmas season of movies, because it's not a movie that's Christmas in every scene. So it's just like a movie you watch, like you could watch it before Thanksgiving. Yeah, it whets the palate.
Thanksgiving is a speed bump, so I mean that's not really saying anything.
Okay. But after you watch, The Batman for Halloween, a couple weeks later, you watch Iron Man 3, get ready for Christmas. Now what everyone needs to go watch is Batman Returns, because that's a full-fledged Christmas movie. There you go. With, little Michael Keaton playing Batman. But that's besides the point. But, dude, all in all, I really enjoyed this movie. Yeah. Even though I agree with, even though the end is a lot, it is fun. Seeing Tony. I think one of the best things about rewatching this is just seeing Tony Stark in the MCU. Right. Like, we don't have that right now.
If you're an Iron Man fan, right, and most people are Iron Man fans because of the tech. Right. This is a very techy movie. I mean, you get the suit flying around by itself, pieces, parts, doing different things. They even make it kind of funny with the the crotch kick and the face slap, you know, all this other kind of stuff. You know, the armor coming saving him. That fact that Jarvis is, you know, behind the scenes, you know, helping out. You know, he's falling from the sky, and a suit comes in, opens up, and he partially gets in it, but enough to keep him from dying. Things like that. So it's a very technical, almost kind of a Transformer-ish kind of a scenes and stuff.
Absolutely,
very cool.
As you were saying, there's like two scenes that popped out that are just I love. One of them is when Tony's chained up. And he's calling. He's like, any minute now. 3, 2, and 1. And the guy's like, dude, what is wrong with this guy? And then finally, and then the other one, it's a few minutes later where, you know, he's running through the house, the compound or whatever, shooting off all these bad guys. And the one guy's like, whoa, dude, I don't even like. I just got the shop. I don't like it. They're weird, man. Like, and he just runs off. So a lot of good humor throughout this movie. And again, it just now we're gonna get Robert Downey Jr. back as Doom, but it reminds me of a take that we had a while back where we both agreed that they should not have killed off Tony Stark. Like it's unfortunate there's no Tony Stark in the MCU right now. You know? So all right. Moving on, dude. Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special. I watched this over this past week too. Dude, I love this little special. You like it?
I did like it. I was actually surprised by it because when you first told me about it, I'm like, oh my God, dude. First of all, I never even heard of these clowns. And now we got a Christmas special, but very cool movie. Very cool movie to watch.
And speaking of wrestlers turned actors, you know, I love Batista's Drax. Like one of the funniest when they go kidnap Kevin Bacon is hilarious. And he's carrying it. He's like, I want my little funny man. And dude, I love Mantis is like, Drax, do you want to save Christmas for Peter or do you want your little funny man? And he's like, I want my little funny man. But what's funny about it, it's a short, I think it's like 45 minutes, an hour tops maybe. It's fun. It's entertaining. It definitely feels Christmas. And but there is like some heartfelt story behind this. Like, you know, at the end, Peter learns that Mantis is his sister, and he's like, "That's the best gift I could ever have." Like, it was cool. It was wholesome. You know, nice family friendly moment there for everyone. So
something that's not so family friendly. Speaking of Drax, there's a character in this animated show that, speaking of Netflix, also it's called Vox Machina. And it's kind of like a medieval kind of a thing, dragons, so on and so forth. But they have a character in there, like, you know, a strong guy character in there that's like a Drax kind of character. You know, he's dumb, but he's loyal and he has his moments of you know, leadership. And it's just the funniest thing. He's like, so he in one scene, he spits and nobody knows what to do. Dragons killing everybody. And he has this moment of clarity and he starts giving out order and everybody's shocked. He's like, dude, where did that come from? He's like, I don't know. I blacked out for a moment.
That's awesome. It's like in Old School at the end when Will Ferrell goes on that like crazy tirade in the debate. And then he like snaps out of it. Like, where the fuck did that come from? It just made me think of that. But what's it called? Vox Machina? Machina?
Vox Machina. VOX. And then machine, MACHINA. Vox Machina. An adult animated show.
I know something else that's not family friendly. It's We Respond. So we're going to get into that.
Let's fucking go.
Let's go. The Captain Canada. So speaking of Canada, speaking of Department H, speaking of Wolverine, and hopefully that movie takes place in Canada. I talked about Wargames, which was in Canada as well. The Captain Canada. He says, my comment got lost. Anyways, great work this week, fellas. I've been having fun. It'd be fun having you guys at the Toronto Fan Expo in 2025. Got you guys here on Spotify while I'm driving. Catch y'all next week. So they want us to go to Toronto for Fan Expo.
Dude, I'm down with that.
You're down with it? Do it.
Have you been to Canada before?
I've never been in Canada.
I've been there. You know, Niagara Falls.
It
was cool. A little different experience for me, but you know, it happens.
Well, Captain Kennedy, you get one of these. It's kind of unofficial. If I like your comment, you get one of those. And if you say something stupid, you get that. All right. So Trouser Hams. Trouser Ham says, you guys are great. Takes can be way different than mine. Like Andrew Garfield is the best Spider-Man, then Tom, then Toby. That's what he says.
Wow.
Yes. But on another note, you guys listed your top 5 comic characters. What about your least favorite? Not really ones you hate, just not a fan of. I'd have to put some thought into that one. But least favorite, we do that next week. Least favorite.
Least favorite comic book character.
Yeah, some like just pointless. Like, why does this guy even exist? Oh. That's going to be challenging but fun.
Because pretty much every character has a role.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, I would have to put more thought into that than any other
absolutely
top whatever that we've actually talked about.
Wow, we're you got us flustered,
right?
Well, trouser hams. We'll see what we can do by next week. All right, Loki Nader 1. Loki Knacker 1. Okay, he's knacking up Loki. Because everyone knows already, it's the kind of thing that can be done with well-placed flashbacks instead of reliving the same 15 minutes every time they make a movie. So we're talking about no origin stories. Right. So, yeah, absolutely Loki Naker. Sirius MF Black. So Sirius motherfucking Black. I like that. He's been commenting in the past. He says, the Diddy jokes are getting old, but Baby Oil God classic. Did I say Baby Oil God last week?
I don't know.
Does that sound like something I would say?
It does sound like something you would say, though.
Okay. A. Josh Strickland. Dude, he's got a ton. A. Josh is all over the interwebs this week. So he's talking a lot. He talks about the X-Men stuff. Fassbender and McAvoy had incredible acting scenes. I agree. But the portrayals of those characters were okay. Yeah. Logan and Deadpool are the best representations. We said X-Men hasn't been done right in live action. I would agree Logan and Deadpool have had probably the best representations. Yep. The Kitty Pryde wasn't horrible. No, Ellen Page was all right. But most were poorly done. Rogue, Juggernaut, and even the original Colossus. Yeah, they all were.
Yeah, horrible.
He says they did Mystique as dirty as a public spa towel. That was good. What else does he say? He talks about
I think Nightcrawler was done very well.
Nightcrawler was absolutely. He also says he'd rather see the street level stuff. So we were talking about if he had to pick street level over multiverse, he'd rather see that. Okay. If I'm in IMAX, give me space and Secret Wars, but I'd rather see the streets. Yeah. He says, as a former bike rider, I can confirm what Adrian says at the beginning. Bikes are not cars. I've done the research. Yeah. Yeah, get out of my fucking way.
Right. I mean, it's mostly for your protection, the bike rider, right? Not the car.
Exactly.
I mean, Right. You got 2,000 pounds of steel wrapped around you, and on a bike you have none.
Right.
So just there's lanes for you. Stay in them because nobody's looking for you.
Stay in your lane. He says, bring him the toast in the morning is a hilarious understatement of Franklin and Galactus' relationship. That was something you said. That was definitely Adrian. And he says, I love the shout out, love the show. We just need more soundboard. Also, House of M is my favorite X-Men story as well. So gnarly. It is a great story. So there you go. More soundboard for you. OG Dirte. Oh, it's not dirty, it's Dirte.
Target, tomato,
there tomato. You go.
Oh, we got them all day, baby.
All right, OG Dirte. Disney should hire people that think like you guys.
That's right.
No, Disney should just hire us.
I was going to say that. Just forget the people like us.
Right. No, because there's no people like us.
It's the real deal.
How hard can it be to read a comic book and turn it into a movie? Yeah, you're exactly. Just take the fucking stories out of it.
That's it.
Jesus Christ. And then OG's got another question. Love the podcast. Quick question. Why didn't Captain Marvel use the Infinity Stones in Avengers Endgame when Spider-Man gave her the glove? You know why? Because Captain Marvel in the MCU is a fucking moron.
Right. Well, she didn't want to be there. So why would she want to do something that makes sense? You know, it's like, dude, I don't even want to be here. So.
Yep, no, unfortunately, the Captain Marvel we're stuck with is an idiot, you know? Remember in Guardians 3, they're like, oh, he's our idiot. Well, Captain Marvel, she's our idiot. Right. It's okay. Devin Vestal 9197 says, you guys seem to have a lot of fans that are mail carriers, so you must be one too. I just wanted to let you know I'm one too. All right.
Nice.
You guys make delivering in the cold, snowy mountains with no cell service for hours much more enjoyable. Huge fan. Keep it up, guys. Well, Devin, we're going to keep it up, and you keep it up, dude. It's the holiday season. Your ass is going to be in those fucking mountains every day. So we're going to keep coming once a week for you. We'll give you a couple hours of fun time. John Bon Von, he says, we should be called the Oofs. Only our fans, LOL. Because we're talking about what should our fans be called? Oofs? I don't know. I mean, hey, y'all want to be called oofs? I don't know about that one.
let's shoot for something a little bit more respectable.
Yeah, sorry, John Bond, we love you, but
it's cute, but
yeah.
Let's think about it a little bit.
Right. The half Rican guy. Okay. I respect that, dude.
Okay.
My kids are half Rican. Well, no, they're quarter. Origins are for the comics. We don't need to rehash them for hugely popular. Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's kind of what you said. We got the stories in the comics.
Right.
We don't need to bring every damn origin on screen.
That's right.
John Bonvon's back. Here's a hidden gem.
Oh, isn't that being called, that's called being lazy, I think.
There you go. John Bonvon says, here's a hidden gem. Grifter.
Grifter. Oh, that's definitely a hidden
mentioned
gem.
Grifter before. Yeah.
That's definitely a hidden gem.
All right, well, add it to your list there.
Add it to the list.
Russell Dowis, 1840, says, great show as always, guys. I agree with Adrian that sometimes the off-brand comics can be amazing. Says, I just finished reading Invincible and absolutely loved it. Keep up the great work. There you go. Now, you've not read Invincible comics. You're a big fan of the show, though.
Only the show, and the show is awesome, dude. It really is.
Sons of Sekhmet says, best costumes. We talked about this a few weeks ago. Strife, Death, Archangel. So an Apocalypse transforms Angel. That's a cool one. Spider-Man's original symbiote suit. I like that. Phoenix Jean Grey, the green suit with the gold. That is a cool costume.
Yeah.
Both of them, the green and then the Dark Phoenix when it turns red. And then Colossus Phoenix Force. Oh, that's from the X-Men versus Avengers comic, I believe. And then Earth X Daredevil. I'm not sure about that one. But, Sons of Sekhmet. Arm Stew, he says, chill on my name, Armani Stewart. Okay, so it's not like Arm Stew, like, you just played basketball for 3 hours and forgot to DO up before you went out.
All right. Arm Stew, not Arm Sweat.
Yes, there we go. So Arm Stew's question, did you guys grow up on DC or Marvel? I mean, I grew up on both, right? Were you
both.
more one than the other, or
more Marvel?
More Marvel.
DC. I mean, the characters, and they're still today. It's just a handful of them.
Right.
Yeah, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. There was no Aquaman for me.
No.
Because I couldn't see some dude in some green tights. Only thing he's doing, like, kicking his feet like that through the water, dude. You're not going to go nowhere like that.
Yep.
You're supposed to be the underwater Superman. I just didn't work for me. Who else? The Titans.
Yeah.
As a group, and Green Lantern.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. The Hal Jordan Green Lantern. We didn't get to the John Stewart version until later on.
Right. Do you remember which you were attracted to first, DC or Marvel?
It was Marvel.
It was Marvel. Yeah. I actually don't remember because I remember being a Batman fan as long as I can remember, but it was like. This is going to piss off some DC fans, but I looked at it as Marvel and Batman. Because, like, the rest of DC, I'm like, who the fuck I need these guys for? I mean.
Well, I was first introduced to DC. Well, first of all, the first DC character I was introduced was Reed's version of Superman in the movie theater.
Oh, so Christopher Reeves. Okay.
Yeah, so there was no correlation in my mind between Christopher Reeve's Superman and DC.
Got it.
The DC part came later.
Yeah.
But it was always the Marvel comic books, right? So that's how I kind of split it up. Just like I didn't know Man-Thing was a comic book character at all.
Right. Buster Barnes says, Gunn didn't confirm a Deathstroke film. He just confirmed that there are plans for Deathstroke, although, that Bane versus Deathstroke movie is probably true. So, that's a good point. Fact check our shit. Because I did say he confirmed a Deathstroke film, but he did not. He just confirmed plans for Deathstroke in the DCU. And there was a rumor about a Bane and Deathstroke movie, but that hasn't been confirmed. So, fact check our shit. Good job, Buster Barnes.
I mean, but Deathstroke, though, he's more of a Titan enemy than anything else. But then there's also Terra. Terra is they don't call them mutants in DC.
Oh yeah.
But she had the ability to control the earth. Like she could move stuff. She could jump on a rock and fly and things like that. But she was like she had daddy issues, and Deathstroke used her like completely screwed her up and turned her against it because she was part of the Titans, and then he used her and twisted her mind and turned her against them and all this other kind of stuff. So that would be a cool like storyline right there. So it's kind of, in my mind, it's kind of hard to separate Deathstroke from the Titans from Terra.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if there's plans for Titans, but there are plans for like a Bat family that exists. So you got
close enough.
Yeah, close enough, right? So if they're doing that in DCU,
I just want to see Coriander. That's all.
Okay.
Starfire.
All right. Miles Dixon says, "Good job, Mike and Adrian. These guys know what they're talking about. I'm just saying." You know what? Yeah, there you go.
Contrary to what we've been getting
Exactly.
in the past,
Yeah, seriously. Iffy SA says, on the topic of being international, shout out from South Africa. All right, my man.
Nice.
And as long as you keep yapping, I'll keep watching you yap. Well, I'll tell you what, I am not going to stop yapping.
He definitely will not.
Definitely not. I've got a question. You're picking 6 heroes to fight Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom, but they have to be active in the MCU at the moment. Who you got? So what 6 would I pick? I'd throw Spider-Man out there, right?
Yep.
You got to have Spider-Man. You can't have T'Challa because they fucking killed him off.
Right.
Captain Marvel, from a power standpoint, we're going to need her. Who else? Who else will be active? Thor. Yeah, I forgot about Thor because after Love and Thunder, I try to forget about Thor. That's 3. We don't need Ant-Man. We don't need Hawkeye.
Armor.
Well, Iron Man's not active.
Oh, that's true.
Would you have Black Panther, the sister, Shuri?
No.
Who else would you have? Kamala Khan, maybe?
Yeah.
That's 4. We need 2 more.
I would throw in Namor.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 5.
Even that version.
Even that Namor, yep. That's 5. We need 1 more, Adrian. Would you get Captain Falcon out with the vibranium suit?
I haven't seen him yet. So because he doesn't he doesn't exist yet.
True.
So.
Yeah, so he doesn't. Well, we saw him in the show, but he didn't have the vibranium suit yet. So if it was that version, I don't think he stands a shot at doing Wanda, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
She's not proven to be dead yet.
Doctor Strange.
There you go.
Yeah, so get Kamala Khan out of there, throw Doctor Strange. And if we're counting Wanda as active, bring Wanda.
Yeah, right.
Now, if we're not counting Wanda, we need 1 more. Who would that be? Rambo.
Nah, I wouldn't do that.
No? Wolverine.
There you go.
Yeah, he's active, MCU. There you go. So
Storm.
Halle Berry Storm.
No, not yet.
So we got Doctor Strange, we got Spider-Man, we got Captain Marvel, we got Namor, we got Thor, and then the last one we said was...
We didn't mention the Hulk.
No. Well, he's fucking broken arm Hulk. I'd rather have She-Hulk show up.
There you go.
Logan.
Wolverine, yeah.
There you go. There's the 6. Iffy SA shout out from South Africa, dude. Mark Kalunet June, you know what? Just come up with a fake name like these guys.
Hold on before you do that.
Yeah.
So if you're in Scotland, give us a shout out. I got to get back to Scotland. I've been there twice, dude. Fun place.
Scotland. We've had people close in Ireland, but not Scotland. So yeah, if you're from Scotland, let us know. But Mark Kaluyet Jr. 666, even at the bro, what are you doing? He says, never like Mondays more. Cheers. There you go. That's right. No origin story for Fantastic Four is great in my opinion. Superhero movies need to have more Pattinson year 2 or year 3 arcs to start off. I couldn't agree more.
Absolutely.
Like no one saw the Batman and said, oh man, we really missed out on seeing his parents killed again, right? Like you can reference it. We know what you're talking about. We've seen it 800 times.
Right. Or even do what they did in the Penguin, which they perfected, do these flashbacks, you know. You can weave it in. I would go with don't have it at all because we know them. But, you know, as they move through these characters and they obviously bringing in more, even if they introduce a new character, don't do an origin story. No. Do a flashback, dude.
Especially,
make it like a minute and a half, call it a day.
Right. Especially now that we're living in this era of this cinematic connected universe.
Right.
If you're doing standalone stories, it makes sense to have the origin. But this is supposed to be a universe that all these characters already exist in. We don't need to enter at the origin point for everyone. Let's just have a lived-in universe where a character shows up and we learn about him as we go versus they give us the whole, you know, the whole entree first.
Right. Or if you do got some obtuse character, you know, put him a live action, full-fledged character, and then do like a Netflix series or something.
Absolutely.
And do the origin.
Yep. FWig215 says, bro, I love this channel, seriously. And then he's all caps, he's yelling, you guys are great, keep up the great content. Yes, we will. Symbol of Peace 42. It's funny you have that name and then you say this. Batman solos Marvel without prep time. Dude, I'm a big Batman guy, but he ain't soloing Marvel. I mean, come on, dude.
The entirety of Marvel.
Scarlet Witch will have him thinking he's his mom getting shot by Joe Chill. Like, knock it off. Ski School 2, Mystique being a good guy is why Days of Future Past doesn't work as good as it should have, could have. That is really my only issue with that movie, is Mystique being the good guy.
Right.
Dave Souza 86, I blame Sony for all the Andrew Garfield hate. While his Peter was way too cool, I do agree with that. He was an amazing Spider-Man behind the mask. His suit in Amazing 2 is my absolute favorite. That is a cool suit. That is something we could do one day, is rank all the Spider-Man suits. You're going, no. Yeah,
sure, we can do that.
Yeah.
But part of the suit is the web shooters.
Yes.
Garfield's webs were out of his body.
No, that was Tobey.
I mean, who?
That was Tobey Maguire.
No, it wasn't. Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I got
get that, Adrian. Sorry, bro. I have to give it to you too.
Oh yeah, because he got, had the whole impotence thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, remember that? He couldn't get the web up.
Okay. So
why is that always the go-to though? Like they did it with Hulk. It can't go. Green guy can't come out.
Right.
He can't blast his little webs. Like,
well, so I gotta find some other reason to not like Garfield, but I didn't like him.
Got it. No, I do agree that him as Tobey Maguire, or him as Peter Parker, he did come across as way too cool. He's skateboarding, he's funny, he's this. It's like Tobey, fucking keep saying Tobey. Jesus.
Who is your dialect coach? The
I don't
Minions?
know. Peter Parker is not supposed to be cool.
Right.
He's supposed to be a dork.
He's awkward.
Yeah.
And that's why he's like the #1 beloved superhero character in the world, because of that awkwardness. Because everybody can relate to going through those teenage angst, the mistakes, all the crap that a teenager goes through.
Yep. Yeah, dude.
I can't believe I mixed that up. Anyway, it happens.
You know what? Well, we have said this before, Adrian. We are not experts. We are only fans.
You might be an only fan.
No, I'm sorry. No, we're just fans. Yes, we are just fans. So, moving on. Next, we have our boy Letho Viper says, Batman. Well, he's not our boy. Batman will get destroyed by Karate Kid.
See, I mean, he's just seeking attention.
He's got to be, because, dude, Batman would, he'd whip the Karate Kid's ass, the Three Ninjas' ass, fucking Daniel LaRusso, Miguel Diaz, everyone in Cobra Kai, Mr. Miyagi, Mr. Rogers, fucking all of them. It don't matter. So, nope, you're wrong.
Well, first of all, Ben Affleck's version would just fly over and just bomb the whole compound.
He'll just shoot him. But, I mean, all jokes aside, the Karate Kid knows karate.
Right.
Batman, Bruce Wayne knows like every form of martial. And that's the thing, what people...
Well, not every. A lot of them.
A lot of them.
Right.
But I think that's a lot of what people forget about, Batman's just a human being. That's true, but he is a peak mentally, physically, from, financially, from a toughness, from a strength, from a mind over matter. Like, dude, he can block out some telepathic, whatever fuck how you say it. You know what I mean. But he can block out that shit,
Telepathetic. Say that again.
Yeah, telepathic.
Dude, you are telepathetic.
You are, dude. I'll tell you who's telepathetic, dude, is Leo Viper with this take right here. So he's definitely telepathetic.
Oh, well.
But telepathic.
Anyway, he's had his 30 seconds.
Yes, he has. Prime Dynamics. I love you guys' style, my man. I don't love your grammar, but we love you too. Yo, Adrian Strickland is on TikTok as well. He says, am I the only one that hated both Mystiques? Yes. Why all the fake naked? They made the character weird. All right. Hey, Josh, I love you, bro, because you comment a lot, but they made the character weird. Did Mystique not turn into a guy and get someone pregnant?
They did.
Yeah. Dude, look, bro, you're like crazy PC today, bro. You're on it. You're advocate for mental health. You're like, they did. But I mean, yeah, you're like, they didn't make the fucking character weird, dude. She changed their sex to have a child. Like, Mystique's already weird.
Yep.
And I did not have an issue with seeing Rebecca Romijn as this fake naked character, H.O.S.
Not at all.
So, and I respect your opinion if you did, Destin Verdeo, with no prep time, if Punisher shoots a bazooka at Batman, the fuck's he going to do? So with no prep time, Punisher's just walking around the street with a bazooka.
You know what Batman probably do? Move.
Yeah, there you go. He'd probably take him out before he even pulled the trigger. But if they're just showing, because this is like, you know, they're just showing up to a street corner. He ain't going to have the bazooka in his pocket, you know? I mean, come on. Worship Moon Kitty Senpai 22. Yes, that's his name. Check out Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League. I think it, dude. Like we've all seen this shit. He's saying like we've never, you know. Oh my god, I never heard of that. Slappa Wrestling. You must like wrestling. That means I can get some merch from Australia. Yes. And then he goes, also, you forgot Aunt May could 1v1 Batman. No, she couldn't. Batman, he'd riz her up, dude. Bruce Wayne, he'd be taking her. If it's the Aunt May from the MCU,
right?
Bro, Bruce Wayne's taking her home, dude.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Julius Pepper Woodfiles. My opinion is awful, but if you aren't famous, you can't argue with me. Enjoy your 4 listeners, bro. Anyways,
see what the people that watch this show doesn't understand is that you read these things before.
Yes,
right?
I do.
And you still read them out loud.
I do,
right?
yes.
So we are equal opportunity here.
Absolutely.
Because that was a dumbass.
It was a dumbass comment.
I wouldn't even read it.
Yep.
Me personally.
Right. But I can show very little restraint, Adrian. CRISPR Z says James Gunn skipping origin stories. Where'd he get that idea? Maybe Spider-Man? I don't know that he ripped that from Spider. I mean, he did the Guardians of the Galaxy and didn't give us origin stories of everyone. I think James
Only
Gunn,
comics. That's where he got the idea from.
There you go. Lex Penguin Soldier, thoughts on Sonic 3? I have no thoughts because I've seen the first one. Here's my thought.
Wait a minute. What was the question?
Thoughts on Sonic 3. There's a third Sonic movie hitting the theaters in December.
Sonic the Hedgehog?
Yes, exactly. So that's my thoughts. Why do we have 3 Sonic movies?
Why did you have the first one?
First one wasn't bad.
Okay.
But I'm like, we've only had one Super Mario movie, which was actually phenomenal. So let's have more Mario, less Sonic. There we go. Young 140 says, don't ever say your top 5 again. Shut the fuck up.
That was funny, though.
Yeah, that was. C-God 721. Lost all credibility with the Scarlet Witch take. Dude, first of all, no offense to anyone watching, I'm not looking for credibility from y'all. My take's my take, and
right.
That's it. Speaking of takes, Sonny Ezra says Black Panther is trash. Dude, I don't know why, but whenever I hear that, I'm like, bro, you're probably racist. Karaoke Hero. Y'all should look up the development hell Elf with Will Ferrell went through. It's insane how no one wanted to make that movie. Challenge accepted. So I'm going to look this up, Adrian, because Elf is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. You like Elf?
It was a while ago. Only thing I remember is him being in some crib or something, his feet hanging out.
Yes. I love it. It's hysterical. Right. One of my all-time favorites. So I will take that challenge, and my next Yapathon will be about the development hell that Elf went through. So there you have it. That's We Respond. How do you get on We Respond? To Adrian's point, you say something cool, you say something stupid, you annoy me, you make me happy. There's really no rhyme or reason. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I read every comment. I try to read every single comment that comes through, and sometimes I feel like you guys need to be smacked around a little bit verbally. And that's what I'm here to do. So,
do you think that some people actually made the comments so that they could be slapped around?
Oh, absolutely.
I was in Florida once.
Masochist.
I was exactly. Mm-hmm. I was in Florida, not once, but when I was in Florida,
yeah.
You drive down the street. You know how you have the people asking for money and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there was this one guy, right? His sign was, for $1, I'll slap you. So I'm thinking, right, is this guy doing this because he enjoys it or because he has had enough people allow them to pay him so that he could slap them for him to even be out there?
Damn.
I mean, it's a little side distraction. Nothing to do with comics, but just saying.
No shit. Well, moving on, Adrian, this is your segment. Hidden Gem. This is where you break down. It used to be, an obscure comic character. Sometimes it still is.
Yeah.
But it was really, the rules here on Only Comics are very fluid, right? Yeah. We're not really set in stone. Lately, you've been getting a lot of suggestions from some of our fans, our oofs, as they call them. I don't know if I don't like that, but we'll call you oofs until we can come up with a better name. Mm-hmm. But what do we have going on this week on Hidden Gem? All
right, so speaking of obscure, I got one for you this week. All right. Actually, I mentioned the name last week.
Yep.
Because it was related. And I was thinking, I'm like, wow, I haven't seen this dude in like 30 years.
Damn.
Anyway, this week's hidden gem is the Sphinx.
Okay.
You ever heard of him?
No.
Okay. Anath Nunmut, right? He's
DC or Marvel?
Marvel. So this goes back. This is like some Moses shit, right?
Damn.
So remember Moses when he came in, set my people free, blah 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 blah, and they did the snake on the ground thing with the canes and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this guy was Ramses II's sorcerer, his priestess. Well, when Moses came through, he wasn't powerful enough to defeat Moses, so Ramses II dismissed him, banished him, right?
Got it.
So he went out and he kind of wandered around, did his own 40 years in the desert. I think it was like 5. Did his own wandering around. But anyway, he came upon this stone, and this stone gave him these powers, right? And the stone is actually from a tree that produces stones, and anybody that gets one of these stones, and there's several characters in Marvel that have gotten these stones, and they've given it, like Moon Dragon. Have you heard of Moon Dragon?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So she has one of those stones.
Okay.
And so he gets one of these stones. It gives him all these powers, one of which is immortality, right? But he has all these other powers, and I'll get to that later. So he wanders around aimlessly, just doing whatever he wants to do for 5,000 years, right? So at some point he gets bored with this stone. So basically, the stone summoned him to touch his head with the stone, and once there, it permanently affixed itself to his brow.
Yeah.
So he's wandering around 5,000 years with a stone in the middle of his head, and he gets bored. So he tries to think of ways to kill himself because he's like, "This is it, right?"
Damn.
So, he's unsuccessful at suicide. But what he does do is he gets knowledge of this planet-sized computer system. So he goes and he gets other people to take him there, and he goes and he absorbs all the knowledge of this planet. So one of the other features of this stone is it basically gives him an idyllic memory, so he can remember everything.
Yeah.
So he goes and basically downloads this planet-sized computer system into him. So now he's immortal. He has all these other powers, and he has this supercomputer level of knowledge. And so with this new knowledge, now he forgets the thing about killing himself.
Okay.
So now he's going around, doing other kind of stuff. He gets on the radar of the Fantastic Four, which is the tie-in, right? And Reed, actually, speaking of summoning, he goes after to try to get Galactus, right, to come and take care of this guy. So Galactus comes, they fight, the Sphinx loses. Galactus actually plucks. It's probably what Thanos, they got the thing from. Well, I'm not saying that that's where they got it from, but like Thanos plucked the ruby from Vision's head. He basically plucks this gem off of the Sphinx head, crushes it, and then sends the Sphinx back in time to the time when he existed, because Galactus is not really a time traveler.
Yeah.
He didn't really understand the implication of what he did. So when he sent the Sphinx back, now there's 2 of them. So you got the old Sphinx that doesn't know about his future, and you got the old Sphinx that, well, which one's the old one? So you got the original Sphinx that got sent back in time to meet his old self, right? That doesn't know about what's going to happen in his future.
Sure.
So the one that got sent back in time tells the other one what's going to happen. So they hatch a plan they know that Galactus is going to crush the stone.
Yeah.
So they figure out a way to resurrect the stone after it's been crushed.
Okay.
So it happens. He goes back in time. The old Sphinx makes the one that got sent back in time, makes the old one forget about what's happened, and he goes and lives his life the way it is, so on and so forth. So he has that kind of adventure. And so at some point, he gets involved with some woman who's also kind of like at his level. And what eventually happens with the Sphinx is, I mean, the reason that you don't see this guy is that, you know, he doesn't have a lot of appearance. He's kind of like insignificant, but I always thought he was a cool character.
Yeah.
So they actually go back in time together and they relive their life. So they're just looping their lives over and over and over again throughout this thing. His powers, well, what can he do? Well, he's immortal. The Ka stone is what it is called. That stone in the middle of his head.
Yeah.
The abilities that they granted the Sphinx was reality alterations. Now, you'll see that a lot, like these stones. So the rings, the stones, the jewels, these things have all these crazy powers, and they're just kind of sitting around in the universe, and people find them, right? What did the grilled chicken in Captain Marvel? It was some kind of...
The bangle.
The bangle.
Yep,
so
she found
it's kind of like that level of thing.
Okay. Like an artifact or something.
Artifact, right? Yep. So reality alteration, he can, like Wanda, he can warp reality within several miles of him. Energy manipulation, illusions, telepathy, and total recall. So part of his journey was, as he's wandering around for 5,000 years, he's reading the minds of people to try to get rid of the Ka stone because he wants to kill himself.
Yeah.
Right? So he's trying to figure out, how can I get rid of this thing? So one of the minds he reads is, remember Nova from the Nova Corps?
Yep.
He reads the mind of this kid who, so when the Nova Corps is like the Green Lantern, they get bestowed these powers. And part of that is they also get downloaded into their DNA, the history of the Nova Corps.
Okay.
So that's how he ended up finding this computer-sized planet from the knowledge that he gleaned from this person. So part of the total recall is that, so he's wandering around, imagine this, wandering around for 5,000 years reading people's minds. And anything that he reads in their minds, he retains it. Right? So he's building this knowledge. So not only is he immortal, he can fly, right? Can lift 80 tons. When he downloaded the information from the supercomputer, that he also increased his strength and his power. Yeah. Teleportation, stamina, durability, all that kind of stuff. But he's also a mystic, because remember, he was the Pharaoh's sorcerer. Okay. So he also has that. So they actually called him like a mutant. Reed Richards identified him as like a cosmic level threat. Got it. So a mutant, even back in those days, comes into this Ka stone, gets all this power, walking around, reading everybody's mind, absorbing all this knowledge, then absorbs a freaking planet, right? So this dude should have been so much more formidable in the Marvel universe. I mean, technically, he should have been like a Galactus level guy, right? Yeah. Or at least a Dr. Doom level guy. But I think actually probably beyond Dr. Doom, because he definitely, Doom, Richards, Stark, T'Challa's sister, these are genius level people, right? Valeria, which is Reed Richards' daughter, these are genius level people. So like we saw in Iron Man 3 where Tony, the guy was like, he was going through his depression or his panic attacks, Tony, and the kid said, you're a mechanic, right? Build something. So he goes into a grocery store, buys a bunch of juice, and turns it into bombs and some type of gun or something like that. So these guys are geniuses, which means that they can create things out of thin air. The Sphinx, I don't think he's a genius. He just can remember a bunch of stuff. He has a bunch of knowledge. That doesn't mean that he can convert that knowledge into like create a spaceship or a ring that can pop you through the universe. Not that he needs it. Right. So it's knowledge versus application. He's knowledge. All these other guys, Richards, Stark, they are application. So with all of that stuff, I think he could have been so much more formidable. So definitely above like a Dr. Doom as far as a power set is concerned. Yeah. But not necessarily the smart part. But I also think that he could have shown up a lot more, in Marvel Comics. And he just kind of like died off. I mean, even if you do research on him, it's like half a page or some shit. But I always thought he was a pretty cool character. So the Sphinx resurrected him. Hopefully we could see him. But I would put him like at a Thanos kind of level, high evolutionary kind of thing. So he's one of those characters that I think could probably show up in different places, and it would kind of make sense because he's also got that history too, which would make a pretty good storyline.
Got it.
So the Sphinx.
Do you remember where you first saw him in comics? Like what comic story it was in? What character?
It was literally the part that they was talking about. It was Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And I remember the comic where Galactus crushed the stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And this is what, 80s? Like how long has that been around?
Yeah, it's like the 80s.
Wow. Oh shit! No, I've never. I mean, I obviously have heard of the Sphinx, like the fucking thing out in Egypt, but I've never heard of this character. No.
Yep.
Look at that dude. No, under Adrian's learning tree, you all just sat. Now, could the Sphinx? My favorite question: could he solo the Justice League?
I think so.
Okay.
Not like if they met up at the street corner kind of a deal.
Oh, he needs some prep.
He needs some prep, yeah.
Got it. All right.
He has a power set. The ability, so the telepathy, he can read the minds.
He's telepathic too?
He's telepathic also.
Oh, shit.
The teleportation, the strength. He needs some prep time because strength alone wouldn't do it. Superman will wipe him out with that. You get Wonder Woman with the lasso. Get him, talking about his childhood and how he's depressed because Ramses kicked him out, and Moses kicked his ass. Actually, the fact that he could not solo the Justice League.
Damn, he can't because Moses kicked his ass.
Exactly.
If Moses can kick your ass, dude, then fucking Superman's gonna whoop your ass. Yeah. And if it's Zack Snyder's Superman, he's just gonna kill you. Right.
There you go.
Or as you put, the Ben Affleck Batman's just gonna shoot you in the face and run you over with the Batmobile. So, dude, I think he was trying to make this the absolute Batman before it even existed. With the axe on the thing, but that's a whole other story. Well, another great hidden gem, Adrian, the Sphinx. I screw that one up too.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because he goes back in time, if he wouldn't have erased his original self's mind, if he wanted to do it, he could have done like other people have done. He could come back through time and just kill him off as babies. I mean, that's one way he could have done it.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
That'll work. Well, moving on. It's a great hidden gem as always. We're going to wrap up with some agree to disagree. But I wanted to give you, so Broman Williams, he said this last week. A couple weeks ago, he said that I changed his perspective on the Batman. Now he says that, hey, Adrian has changed my perspective on Damian Wayne. Why do y'all keep making me drink the Kool-Aid? Keep up the good work. Now, he says that he's coining the name as the Intergalactic League of Only Comics. That's our crew name now. I'll be honored to be your leading general. Well, bro, man, have at it, dude. I still think we got to perfect it. We got to work on this thing a little bit. This is, it's a little better than oofs, but we got to come up with something. But, you changed the perspective on Damian Wayne, because we were talking about him last week, dude, who now we're going to see Damian Wayne on screen. This is one where they really got to get this casting right. Right. Like that will make or break that Batman Brave and the Bold story, I think, because he's such an integral, character.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're liking Damian Wayne, then go see, and you haven't seen this yet, Battle of the Super Sons or something like that.
No, I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen it yet.
Damian is just funny as hell in this one, besides being a dick. Right. Because so the premise is basically Clark's son is just discovering his powers. Okay. And he doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. And he doesn't know that his father is Superman. Okay. And so Lois and Clark, they leave. And he is looking for his, like, a Christmas present or whatever. And he goes underneath his parents' bed and he finds the Superman suit in a box. And he's like, ew, because he's thinking cosplay. Right? But then his powers start coming out and he's freaking out. And he goes hide in a barn or something, and Superman comes out. He realizes what's going on with his son, and he's crying up there and stuff. He's like, Dad, but you don't understand. So he floats up with the suit. He's like, son, I do understand.
Oh shit.
So he reveals to his son that he's Superman.
Yeah.
And the funniest part about it is that they're flying around and all this other kind of stuff. And he's like, do you know Batman? He said, so his son basically says that Batman is my favorite superhero. But Dad, you're number two. And then he goes off and they get to see him in action. Batman's beating somebody's ass on the roof. And he's like, that's kind of brutal. And Superman's like, well, that's what he does.
Yeah.
Right? But then he goes and to the Batcave, and he's trying to Bruce is trying to help him figure out his powers.
Yeah.
Or what activates them and things like that. Damien sitting over there on a rock, right? And he's like, well, they discussing it, and it's like basically anxiety or something kicks off this power.
Yeah.
Damien just pushes them off a cliff, dude.
Oh, shit.
He's screaming and yelling. He's like, dude, what are you doing? Superman, of course, goes and catches him.
Right.
But because Batman, probably some of those pits are bottomless.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
He just pushes them off like nothing.
Oh, shit.
It's just the funniest shit.
Bro.
That's Damien.
Yeah.
That's Damien. So if you like him, go, definitely watch that.
Yeah. And I'll add to the list the movie that comes before Batman and Robin, Son of Batman, where Batman learns about Damien when Talia shows up and just kind of drops him off. That's another really good movie as well.
Right. So what is it? What was the name of that movie?
The one Son of Batman.
So Son of Batman, Batman v Robin, and then Battle of the Super Sons.
There you go. You got a trilogy right there.
There you go.
So check that out, bro, man, and everybody else watching. As we wrap up with a little agree to disagree, this is where I rapid fire. I got 7 today, Adrian. Lucky number 7 of my opinions as of today. I have the right to change my mind. You have the right to change your mind, and we have the right to agree or disagree.
Right.
And one thing we won't do is we're not going to bitch, moan, and complain about either one of our opinions here because we understand that these are just made up characters.
There you go.
And it's not life or death. Okay?
And these are our opinions.
Exactly. And if you don't like them, you are fucking wrong. No, you're not. It's just, well, you are, but it's okay that you're wrong.
But it's your opinion also as well.
Absolutely. So are you ready, Adrian?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Number 1, Iron Man 3 is better than Iron Man 2.
Agree.
Despite whatever The Rock says, there's no singing in the movie theaters. Watch the movie and shut the fuck up.
Agree.
Franklin Richards would solo the Justice League.
Agree.
No prep time, Batman loses to Spider-Man.
Agree.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
Captain Falcon needs a lot more than a vibranium suit to fight Red Hulk.
Agree.
Iron Man 3 is better than Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Agree.
And if you're breathing air, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe. What the fuck you waiting for?
Right. And why you go in there, grab the hands of your neighbors,
Yes.
your friends, your enemies,
Yes.
some cats and dogs. Bring everybody over.
Bring everyone. Absolutely.
And your 900 followers that you want to have go against us, bring them too.
Yes. Dude, where are they working on like a crazy ass video,
Dude, they working on a multiversal comeback or something.
It's been like 2 months, dude.
Yeah.
He's getting all these other parents out there to attack us online. I'm waiting for it. But
he's probably pleading, screaming in the phone, dude, come help me.
They said mean stuff about me online. Anyways, but that's just that's just proof that don't fuck with me online. How about that? That's solid proof there because this guy's life's never been the same since then. Actually, who knows?
We don't know.
We really don't know. I know he hasn't commented since, so there's that.
So we're making that up too.
Yeah,
so, whatever.
Yes. Anyways, Adrian, thanks for coming out. Another fun week here on Fun with Mike and Adrian.
There you go.
So next week, what do we have to look forward to next week? We got a Court of Owls review. Kind of probably 2 weeks away from that because we got to dig into that book.
Our top people that we hate.
Yes, our bottom 5 comic characters. So we'll do that. And how about why don't we watch another Christmas movie, Adrian?
Let's do it.
Batman Returns.
Oof. Yes. With Schwarzenegger?
No. This is the Michael Keaton and the Penguin.
Oh.
Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman.
Oh, that That'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting after watch. I've not seen it since I've watched The Penguin.
Right.
So we'll be interested. So
dude. You know, you're gonna be looking at that old Penguin, in the shadow of this new Penguin.
True. Maybe my stance will change, but you got Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, one of the best scenes ever when she turns into Catwoman.
Yeah,
so
that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Let's do that. So it's a Christmas themed movie. So y'all want to watch? You guys take the next 7 days, go watch Batman Returns, and come back next week and talk about it with us. Right. There you have it.
You know what we're not going to review?
What's that?
That's a Christmas movie.
What?
Home Alone. Any of them.
Yeah, I think I'm Home Alone out, dude.
Right?
Like,
how do you change the kid? What was like Home Alone 2 or 3 or whatever?
3 they changed, yeah. There's only 2 Home Alone movies, 1 and 2. That's it. The other ones don't even count. Right. So, Jesus. But anyways, guys, thanks for checking us out. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all the love, all the hate, everything in between. I mean, honestly, one of my favorite parts of the show is now becoming this We Respond. It's great.
Yeah, it's
fun.
pretty cool.
And we appreciate all the interaction. And the bigger we get, I will do my best to continue that and try to respond and react to every comment, because it's like it's a very codependent relationship, right? We don't have only comics if it isn't for y'all. Well, we do, but you guys don't have it if it isn't for us. And if you keep commenting, we'll be around longer. There you go.
Hey, reminder, if you're in Scotland, shout out.
Yeah.
But wherever you are, shout out.
Shout out. Go to onlycomicsmerch.com. We are now internationally shipping. So,
nice.
And I just, truthfully, I just fucked that up for so long because it's like a couple toggles that it takes like less than 2 minutes to set up. Right. So that was on me. My bad. But anyways, thanks for coming out. Adrian, thanks for joining.
Absolutely.
Next week, Batman Returns, bottom 5 comic movies. And then week after that, maybe we'll dig into some Court of Owls. We have a lot of shit to do. Busy season.
Bottom 5 comic movies or bottom 5 characters?
Yeah, bottom 5 characters. The losers at the bottom. So Superman's getting. No, I'm just kidding. No. Anyways, we'll see you next week right here on Only Comics.
Peace.